We'll start. Hello, welcome to the Board of Public Works meeting, Monday, January 5th. We're at the DPW meeting room at 965 Plain Street. Marshfield Community Media's recording. And on the agenda tonight, can I have a second? Open the
You gotta
meeting.
read it.
All right, well, we have an appointment with Tom Whalen from the Historical Cemetery Commission on restoration of historical graves. And then at 6:15, Zeller Fonseca with a discussion of Section 4 Couch Cemetery. Our action items for tonight are contract for Ken Ryan to be voted on and signed for superintendent. The ADU policy discussion and vote. We have Willow Street order of taking by eminent domain. 2026-34 Earth Materials Contract Award. The contract for 2026-04 High School Ball Fields Change Order. And the appointment of the town engineer. For the discussion, we have Andrew Stewart, building inspector, to discuss the bylaw change on the ADUs. And then we have School Street Lights update, the update of the proposed sidewalk at Town Pier, an update of the enterprise account, update of the snow budget, and an update on the DPW budget. We're going to change the order of the discussion items to bring the DPW up to number 4, and then we'll do the enterprise accounts, and then we'll do the snow budget.
And we talked about potentially moving Andrew up before we talk about the 80.
Yeah, he's on number 1 anyway, so,
Number 1 discussion, but do we want
Yeah.
to talk about that before we talk about number 2 action item?
oh yeah, we'll talk with Andrew before we vote on the ADU policy. So we'll put that discussion item ahead of the number 2 action item. And then we'll vote to accept the minutes from December 1st and December 15th. And then the superintendent's report. And our next meeting is going to be, we think, Tuesday, January 20th, because we can't meet on Monday, it's a holiday. So we'll talk about a timing for that. We'll make sure that we can all be there.
Just want to make one add.
Yeah.
On number 2, discussion, School Street, and it's put traffic lights.
Oh, okay. So
Just,
we'll do traffic lights
yeah,
update. Okay, so do I have a second?
second,
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay, so, Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Aye, Tommy.
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Yes.
You like me to start?
Oh, would you?
Okay, I provided you with some information before the meeting. I hope you had an opportunity to read it all. And so they established a new commission, Historical Cemetery Commission, Selectmen did, earlier this fall, I think it was November of this year, maybe earlier than that. So we have a number of things that we would like to do. And CPC told us that we had to go before you to use the funds. So that's why we're here. And the Chapel Cemetery restoration, it's incomplete. Nothing's been done there for 7 years. It was scheduled to go out to bid 7 years ago, but the DPW stopped it. There's a balance of approximately $113,000 in there. The restoration process has increased further damage to the cemeteries. Right now, there's 33 stones laying on the ground down there.
So, Tom, sorry to interrupt, but people at home, when you say the cemetery, could you give us the location?
Yeah.
Of a location?
Okay, I'm
So
sorry.
people understand where it is?
Yeah,
It's just a
it's a
point of clarification.
Okay.
It's the Chapel Cemetery on the right, as you go down 130, down Ocean Street. Just close to the, closest to the, best way to describe it, closest to the town hall on that side. The other side is where the church is, and that's Cedar Grove.
Okay.
Alright.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Bob.
So we're going to need additional funding, which is about $25,000, and we're going before CPC to get the rest of the funds to complete the project.
Okay. And the project, explain what you want to do there.
All right, it was a three-phase project before. We started with the restoration of the front fence. That was all restored first. Second, we did the tombs there. There was 5 tombs that had to be repaired. They were in various different, they were in tough shape, to tell you the truth. That has been completed. And the landscape has been completed.
And when was all that done?
Sorry.
16, 18.
Yeah. Over a 2-year period, 2016 to 18.
Okay.
We do have 3 or 4 additional trees that have to come out of there.
Are they damaged?
Yep, they're damaged, and one of them has been losing limbs and it's breaking some of the slate stones, which is the hardest to fix. So when you break a slate stone, you're looking at a minimum of $1,100 to fix one.
Okay.
So we have contacted a couple of tree people in our town, and one has given us a bid so far. We'll wait for a couple others.
Okay.
All right, next item would be the cemetery fence. The fence was restored in 2016, and there's an account balance of $14,000. Since it's been done, there's been physical damage to the fence, and a section of fencing has been removed.
So, sorry, say that again, that you said there's an account balance of what?
Yeah,
do you mean?
CPC has $14,000 sitting in that account.
This is the
In
Daniel
the
Webster?
cemetery account.
Huh? No, it's all, yes,
Are you
What?
talking,
for the fence phase of this, of
Chapel.
Chapel.
okay, all right.
And since it's been done, someone backed into it and punched the fence, the iron rods out of the fence. And for some reason, they took a section of fence down. It's laying on the ground there, and we'd like to restore that section back.
Okay.
All right? We also, the DPW received a grant of $20,000 in 2018, right, for cemetery signage. We would like permission to use those funds for cemetery signs going forward. Chapel would need a sign, and across the street would be Cedar Grove would need a sign. They'd be out facing the street so people can identify the cemeteries as they ride by.
Okay.
And also the Daniel Webster Cemetery fence. That was completed in 2013 at a cost of $171,000. Areas of rust were beginning to show up right after the fence was done. The contractor, he got killed in an accident, so they went after the bond, and I believe the town attempted to use the bond, but nothing ever got fixed. DPW installed voltage out there, so they could work on the fence, but it never went forward, so I don't know if they saved the bond money. I have no idea what happened after that. It got to the lawyers, I didn't follow it any further. So the fence is still rusting. There was a warranty on the fence, might have been 5 years, or could have been more, I don't remember. But it has to be addressed before it gets bad. I mean, $171,000 to fix that fence, we had to get all new patents made and everything, so we've got a good investment in there. We'd like to maintain it. But there's only like $4,100 in the account, CPC account, and I don't think the funds would cover the repairs or the painting.
Is it an electro painting process?
That's a 2-part process, it's urethanes. In order to do it correctly, you can't have any moisture around. Usually right after they sandblast it down, they prime it right away. Because on an old fence, the rust would just start. And that's what I think happened. I went down there to observe, and the first day, there was a lot of fence. I went down and I observed that as soon as they did the first sections, they primed it right away. I don't know if they did it throughout the project because, it took 2 weeks to work on the paint. So, we also have another application into to CPC for Cedar Grove Cemetery for $250,000 in the funding. We expect this to be at least 2 or 3 phases to complete this project, and it's probably going to be close to $500,000. There's a severe amount of damage there. It's very hard to estimate the damage.
So Cedar Grove is the one across from the one you were talking
Yeah.
about? That's behind the church?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's about it for me. We'd like, if you would see if you could help us out with this. And then we can talk about, I also would add, when we had a cemetery committee some years ago, Bob was on it, and we did discuss the possibility of taking a percentage set aside for cemetery headstone repairs. You remember that, Bob?
There's a lot of things I remember, there's a lot of things I don't.
Well, we had talked about it because we've been using CPC funds for capital projects for the cemeteries. But the ones that break off occasionally, like this weekend, we lost the stone up at Marshfield Hills. A branch fell on a tree and broke a slate stone. Trees don't belong in cemeteries today. They're more of a problem than anything.
We had a lot of trees taken out, and not,
I took a lot of them out of there.
Right.
Yeah.
it's a, for those people who don't know, that's a big Civil War
Yeah.
cemetery.
A lot of Civil War people.
Yeah.
And I think-
And so the discussion, I don't remember exactly what it was, but we, for every dollar that we bring in, we have to put a certain amount into one part perpetual care.
Yeah.
And we were gonna hold back certain monies for use by the cemetery trees and greens to repair certain things. So we need to revisit the percentage and discuss that with, current financial people, current superintendent and others to make sure that, all the buckets don't get overflowed or underflowed.
I'm not sure, but I think they started and put 15% aside back then when we with us.
Yeah, we have to revisit the whole package.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of
What-
having a percentage for a steady stream of, and there's not a lot of money. You're talking, short money of when someone buys a lot or there's an interment or something that goes into the fund, because a lot of it goes in perpetual care. And we only can use the percentage, interest that we get to utilize. We can't really use the
Yeah.
principal.
Yeah.
And using just the percentage of the interest is what we're talking about. So the whole thing has to be revisited. Probably it's good to have a meeting with the treasurer and others and come up with the whole list, so we have a spreadsheet, so we can present back to the board exactly what it is and divvy it up and change the percentages if we need to, based on reasoning and understanding of what the finances are.
Well, I have a question. When did the cemetery commission stop working before? Because I know it just got going again.
It's about 18.
2018. Yeah.
So is that when this all kind of
Died
fell
off, yeah.
apart, basically?
we were all-
Is-
The last thing I heard, we had worked on it for 2.5 years. They were sending it off to the lawyer to make sure everything we wanted to do was all right, and we never heard another thing.
I think
And then the
COVID.
commission just stopped meeting, or did
We just stopped meeting, that was
we
it.
just stop meeting?
Wasn't dissolved.
I don't know, but we never dissolved it.
No, we never dissolved it. I mean, but the issue, it was ad hoc based on the Board of Public Works and others. Some people that are no longer with us. And COVID hit and basically things got dropped. A lot of things happened after COVID.
And now you are an official committee, so you can apply for funding.
Yes.
So before, you couldn't? The
No,
DPW had to do it, is that right?
We could still do it. This is, it was
You
coming
could
out,
still then?
but their focus is not the same goal that we were. Our cemetery
Yeah.
committee was based on subpart A, subpart B, subpart C, subpart D. Subpart A is what they're doing now with all the historical cemeteries, making sure they get. Subpart D was to develop new cemeteries. And then subpart B and C were things that were in between that, maintenance, making sure that the budget does and all that stuff. So basically, it was a multi-phased approach.
Yeah.
Um,
We would-
Whereas their focus is really the first subpart.
You're
We
kind
as
of
a board,
restoring
we as a Board of
physical.
Public Works
Mm.
still have part C, B, C, and D. We need to maintain it, we need to cut the grass, we need to go to town meeting and get funding. We need to look at the revenue that's coming in, what portions of it, we're responsible for how much money we can actually spend out of the perpetual care, how much we need to keep as the principal. And then we make the rules on that. And then we need to have our own rules for the actual cemeteries, for the active ones, and build new cemeteries, which we have done. And we've been changing that. We still need to do more work and upgrade the written rules.
That was one of the focuses of what we did, Bob. We put a whole new set of rules together for cemeteries. I think.
Which were never finalized, and we've
Yeah.
still been talking about finalizing them from a legal standpoint, because it's a deed, it's a land deed.
Yeah.
When someone buys a lot in a cemetery, and it has to deal with a legal basis. So having a legal basis, we need to have a legal review. We can't just have
You're talking all for all
all
cemeteries, because we did.
yeah, the historical ones are closed.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
You know,
Right.
the rules are, you know, they're closing, and the historical people are doing what the committee is doing, what they were entrusted to do. It's a good thing that we can preserve where Marshfield came from. The active stuff is with the Board of Public Works.
So
What are we looking for?
we talked today, and I think had
You want me
spoke to, yeah,
Sure, so I guess I'm just trying to figure out what procedurally needs to be done. Because we went to town meeting to get the CPC funds appropriated
Right.
to the Board of Public Works. So then the question is, how does the Board of Public Works, can the Board of Public Works authorize another commission or another committee or something to use those funds? So I don't have the answer today.
Originally, I acted as a citizen seeking these funds,
Mhm.
CPC and town meeting. And something happened with the chapel, was set to go out to bid. And Reynolds didn't want to do it for some reason. And I waited for 2 years, the money sat there. And then we just walked away.
sorry, you got the money from town meeting with a citizen's petition?
Yes.
So did the DPW not get that from town meeting? It wasn't the DPW that did it? Or are we talking
From-
about different funds?
Basically, I did eight projects with cemeteries, and I went before town meeting to get the funding myself.
Do you have a record of that? Like how much money it was and what,
It's approximately $1.2 million.
so it wasn't a DPW article then?
So I think we're kind of confusing it.
Yeah.
Am I interjecting? Tonight, we're here to ask.
Yeah.
We talked to CPC. CPC would like you to vote on it to allow us to take over the remaining balance of chapel so we could get the work done.
And my question is still procedurally, is that legal for the Board of Public Works to do that?
We've been told, yes, we need your permission, and then.
CPC is telling us that we need your permission.
Your permission.
We're a town,
So-
I'm just talking this through, but
Well-
procedurally, I think we need a representative who's an employee of the DPW oversee it. Citizens can't oversee the expenditure of the money. It has to be tied as an employer responsibility.
Matt Eby is the liaison from your group to us.
Yes.
Yeah, you're a commission, you can
More
spend
commission.
money, yeah.
So, but the question was that where our confusion was I think we thought that it was a DPW article at town meeting that got the funding.
Or that, was it awarded to the DPW?
Exactly. Which
That's my
way
question.
did
It's
it?
still there.
It's
Yeah, the money's there.
Yeah,
The
it
money's
is.
there, the money's in accounts, I can see the money, but the question is, what did the town vote on?
Because if the town voted to award it to the DPW, we don't have a mechanism to give it, that we know of, to give it to the cemetery commission. So that's what we have to find out.
To tell you the truth, after 2 years, I went to the accountant people and told them that I wanted to return the money to CPC. And then at that point, that's when Rod said, well, we're gonna keep the money. So that's how it transpired.
Okay,
I
I think we
want-
need a little, I think we need,
Need to do a little more research.
yeah, we definitely want to do this, okay? We want you to, you guys are the experts, we want you to take control of getting this done. We just need to make sure that the money is that we can legally allow you to use the money directly. Do you understand?
Yep.
Okay, so I understand CPC said that, but we just wanna check, we need to check, I guess, with Bob Galvin and do a little research on how the article was presented and what was voted on exactly, to then know that we're doing it the right way. But we definitely want you, I think we all agree, right?
Well,
I mean, we've
we
all
need to come
expressed
up with a
agreement.
process, whatever it is. So if it's a DPW person who is going to be designated as the project person that signs off on it, you guys bring in, it goes to that person, and that acts as the agent for the DPW to get it done, and it gets paid out. So that, we need to do the research to deal with that. I'm in favor of spending the money and, you know, doing it as a team effort to get it done.
So generally, when, as the bills come in, we submit everything to CPC, right? And they decide, and they process it with the rest of the town.
And this is what you had been doing, because you haven't
Yeah.
really, since you guys formed, have you spent any money and sent in invoices?
Yeah.
don't
Since you've been formed?
We don't have any.
But- So there
Yeah,
hasn't been
that's-
anything that, you're talking about before, that's how
Yeah.
you did it. Okay, since you've been formed, again, you haven't done any
Well,
of that.
we have done one. We had to get stakes, and DPW gave us the stakes. I
Okay,
think it might have come out of 113,000.
It did,
I'm not
yes.
sure.
okay,
Yes, it did. I saw that. I
okay,
was looking at the balance.
Yeah.
Just
Well-
recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we got 140 stakes out of chapel, but the headstones and stuff have to be repaired,
okay,
so.
all right. Okay, I think we're all on the same page, we just need to make sure that it's done correctly. So we'll do some more research on that, and then we'll have our next meeting, is gonna be on a Tuesday, so can we put this on the agenda? Do you think we can get answers by
Is
then?
that the 20th?
Yeah, it's gonna be the day, yeah. Is that okay with you
Yeah,
guys?
well, you know, even if it goes out to bid, we only allow them to work between April and November. So it's a very short season for this work to
Okay.
be done. So
Yeah,
we'd like to
so-
get it going.
Right,
So.
yes, we're definitely, we wanted to, so we appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. I think these guys.
So once we get the answer, which will be positive,
Yeah.
because you get the money, you're entitled to it.
We'll figure it out, one way or another, we'll figure out how to do it.
One way or the other.
I just wanted to say,
We'll get
although
this done.
we're a commission, we're not reporting to you, but that's why I gave you our mission statement and all the other information.
Thank you,
So if you have any questions on that, we'd be glad to answer them for that.
great,
If anything popped up, you know? So I've always worked with DPW on this stuff, so, you know, that's why we wanted to let you know.
yeah,
You've done it for years, Tom.
yeah,
Huh?
You've done it for years and years. Thank
yeah.
you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for listening to us, and let's see if we can get it going.
Okay, so they'll be in touch, and hopefully we'll see you guys again on the 20th and
Yep.
have an answer for everybody. Okay?
Yep.
Thank you. Welcome, thank you. Okay, so we have Zeller for Fonseca, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong.
Yeah.
Are you here? You are. Come on up, please.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, Tommy.
Yep.
Thanks, Jiggy.
You can come up, please, if you're speaking, right to the front.
Okay, sure. Hello.
Okay, just introduce yourself, name and address, please.
Zeller Fonseca, 143 Highland.
Okay, okay,
I'm here because I'm trying to figure out, my father passed away
I'm
in
sorry.
December of 2024. And we're working to try to get a headstone, and this has turned into kind of a little bit of a kerfuffle with the whole situation. So we're trying to get some answers and clarification as to the process.
And
Apparently,
where are you talking about? Couch Cemetery?
Couch Cemetery,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, apparently, around the time that my father passed, there was meetings and everything done, with updates to section 4, I believe, of Couch. And we were told that there's new regulations with section 4 that weren't posted at any time prior to, quite honestly, January of, like, this month. And so I'm trying to figure out why section 4 has different rules than the rest of the cemetery.
Because they're not done. Short answer.
So we had a number of meetings with people wanting to have headstones where we had
Rules.
the decision had been made when that new section was made, that it would be just, what are they called?
The headstone markers.
Just the markers on the ground, and people, really wanted headstones, so
And
we had a number of meetings and we came to a decision that it would be a small headstone, so it's 2 by 2, I think?
2 by 3.
2 by 3?
3.
2 by 3?
Single.
yeah, I saw I had to go to the town administrator to get a copy of the minutes because they were posted on the DPW site when we originally were looking at all this information. Trish Simpson, I believe is her name. She was the one that was able to get it for me. And in the copy of that, the minutes, I believe it was Mr. Shaughnessy said that he was going to get input from the community. I haven't seen, I don't know of any record of that input, and was curious as to if that input was received.
So, like I said at the beginning of this conversation, we've been working on it for some time. We've changed superintendents, and we're establishing written rules and regulations for that. This was the subpart D, we just were talking about A, B, C, D,
Mhm.
that was established many years ago, which created section 4. And originally, section 4 was not to have any headstones at all. So the board decided, okay, we're going to have minimal headstones. And we haven't codified, and we made a decision about a year and a half ago.
We had quite a bit of input from
Lot
the
of input.
community because we had several
Yeah,
meetings with
one of the
community
families
members
actually-
here.
The Riley family is actually one of the families that was attending those meetings, and I've been in touch with them.
Yeah.
And they've provided me with some information that I wasn't able to find online. And they actually said that there wasn't any feedback in the meetings that they attended.
Meaning what feedback? Well, all the minutes are posted on the town
Yeah.
website.
I have a copy of the
Okay.
1031 meeting, and again, it
So
says
feedback
that
in what way? What do you
there was
mean?
no input from the community. But in the minutes themselves, it says that the community was gonna provide feedback. My question, I guess,
Yeah.
is how is that feedback received or, posted so that people could actually attend meetings and,
So we had 2 or 3
Yeah.
was it 2 or 3 meetings where we had several residents here that had concerns about Couch Cemetery.
yes,
And we discussed it with them at length. So we made a decision to go from the no headstones decision to the 2 by 3 headstones. We had discussion about color and type and all of that. And that's what we landed on and voted on. And all of the members of the community who had come to those meetings
but I,
understood that and were all in agreement with it. So I don't think we ever had the intention to put that out as a decision to the whole town, because we had meetings posted where we were gonna be discussing it.
but
So-
that's,
What we,
Excuse me, you can't speak unless
I'm-
you're called on.
Okay.
yeah.
So, hold on, please.
so the bottom line is that we did part 1, we didn't do part 2 and 3.
What, part 1? Well,
Part
I-
1 was, we made a decision that we were going to change the original design of the new section with no headstones to minimal headstones. Part 2 and part 3, where we were going to ask for community input on that.
I don't remember that
No, I don't.
at all.
Okay, well, we didn't get any input.
We didn't.
So basically, it was on public, this is a public hearing, so no one gave us any input back. So now we're in the process of writing what the rules are and getting them codified. So what the rules are is that we will allow single headstones in that section. The idea was when they originally designed this, it was quite expensive to get a new cemetery because a lot of towns don't have new cemetery. is to keep everything uniformed in that one section. We didn't want to have a variety of big stones, little stones, all over the place. Just telling you, that's what we didn't want. That was the original design when we built it. And,
Just asking a question as to why.
and basically we
But
gave,
that's not
we
a-
gave
Yeah,
on
you
it.
can't speak unless you're
We gave,
called
we
on.
gave on that, and sorry that if you were told something different, but that's what the original plans were, and we basically agreed to allow minimal headstones above
2 by
ground.
3.
Okay, so-
So
You-
we had several meetings
Yes.
with many residents here. And the decision when the cemetery section was designed.
Yep.
Which was a number of years ago before I was here, was no headstones in that section.
Mhm.
People did not like that. So they requested a meeting on it. We had several meetings on it. We discussed it at length. We had, the lead of the cemetery Trees and Greens, Matt was here. The engineers were here. We discussed it at length. We decided that we would have the 2x3 headstones. They talked, explained all about the
Color.
concerns with regard to getting around headstones and why it was designed that way and the cost of maintaining it. So we did deviate from the original plan, which was no headstones based on what the community wanted. And that was what we came up with as a compromise. And everybody who was here at those meetings was satisfied with that.
Okay,
And so that's what we landed on and voted on.
Yeah.
And that is the rule for Couch Cemetery. That's what was voted on, and that is the rule. It's a 2x3 headstone.
I understand that. Going back to the community aspect of it, again, because the meeting itself said that community feedback or input was going to be had.
So that, I do not know what that is referring to because we had the community
I
input
I
here.
understand, it's in the meeting minutes.
Uh,
I'm referring specifically to the meeting minutes, 10/31/24. I
Okay.
have a copy that I can.
I'll take it.
We didn't agree to have that
Uh,
whole community.
We
No,
did
no,
not,
no.
no, definitely
No, I'm
wasn't
not
something
saying,
we were
I'm,
putting out to the whole town. If we made decisions based on, for things like this with what the whole time, we would never make a decision. That's why there's a board.
No, I understand that, but based off the meeting, okay? If the minutes are saying that you requested input, whoever shows up is gonna be the ones to give input. But if myself, I'm a resident, I had no idea that this was something that was being discussed. I would like to have given my input, but I didn't know about it. So if it's being discussed that you're requesting input, but there's no way for residents to actually give that input,
Okay, so
I-
I do
I'm a
not know what you're talking about with requesting input. We had the meeting, we had the meetings, we got lots of opinions and input, and we changed the plan and the rules for that section of the cemetery based on that.
okay, so
So,
that's a copy of the meeting from 10/21. And you'll see at the top there, it says that Bob wants to get community input.
So we got community input. We had more than one meeting. It wasn't one meeting. It
no,
more
it
than
was
one-
several meetings. Yeah.
Several meetings.
We had
And
three, I
basically,
think.
and the bottom line is, when we made a decision to go from no headstones,
To the two.
which to a small headstone, and that's it. And we just haven't codified it
Okay.
in the rules.
So my follow-up question to that is if you were going to request community input and hypothetically 20 more families showed up and their input was to have bigger headstones.
We don't want bigger headstones. We want no headstones.
Saying we would not have agreed to it because it's not possible for us to maintain.
Okay, so I guess I don't understand the difference between the, let's say, 3x2 headstone that's directly across from section 4 and the 2x3s that are in section 4.
Kenny,
Do you want to explain that to him?
It's all about getting the pieces of equipment out there that are mowing and the amount of handwork you have to do to get around the bigger stones.
So it's harder to get around one stone than it is to get in between four.
It was a consistency issue with the original design.
He's speaking.
I'm a commissioner. Okay?
Excuse me, you cannot speak unless you're called on. At those meetings, we had, and I had lots of discussion with residents and also the department that, you know, ahead of those meetings. We discussed at length all of the concerns, the reason why it was designed with no headstones, and then how we could compromise on that because that's what people wanted. And honestly, any decision that's made, okay, in any town department, and people don't know about it because later on something comes up, we can't keep changing our rules and decisions because,
I understand
you know,
that,
new people
So-
become aware of it. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Not
with
at all.
that.
I-
It's just
I'm
not possible to do things that way.
I agree with that.
Okay.
But you had a rule that was in place and it wasn't posted anywhere. So all the information that was available at the time prior to today, quite honestly, or until we started inquiring more about the measurements and everything, they weren't available at all. There was no information except for what was already there. So essentially,
Are you talking about on the website?
yes.
Has nothing been updated on the?
It's updated now. I actually checked yesterday, which is a year and quite honestly, it's probably like 3 years after the initial of section 4 putting in. But for a year and change, there was no information available. It wasn't until I contacted the town administrator and I was like, I'm hearing, they're telling me this, but I have no proof that that's exactly what the information is.
Well, that's frustrating to me too, because it's been a year that I requested several times for the website to be updated with like color-coded sections that
Sure.
describe what's allowed
So,
in each section and so forth.
Essentially, I was sold a lot, or lots, 'cause we actually were sold 4 lots for my family. And we're told, you know, regulations are posted, so the stuff that I saw is what was listed for couch cemeteries, which was I could get 1 headstone for the entire family, don't have to worry about any of the other information. That's what I was sold. And now I'm being told that there's new regulations and you can only do 1 per lot. So I'm,
So I'm gonna be blunt.
What-
Can I be blunt?
you can be blunt.
I'm gonna be blunt. Well, whoever told you that was wrong, because the original plan was no headstones. Period. No headstones. So
Why
if
was
someone
that
sold you 4 lots, right?
Why wasn't that posted?
I have no idea. I can't speak for other people.
But you're the one that's in charge of the.
Wait a second.
I'm
Bob,
being blunt.
relax
I'm gonna be
for a minute.
blunt.
I'll be
The
blunt right back to you.
design was, and we fought really hard to actually get a new section on Couch
Gotcha.
for years.
Yep.
As Tom Whalen was saying, you know, with COVID, we were actively, for a number of years, from 13 to 18, we were really pushing hard
Mhm.
because there was no new space at Couch.
Gotcha.
So we pushed really hard. When the new section came in place, right, we wanted to make sure that it was pleasing to the eye, because I always call Couch, it looked like Marshall's Drive-In Theater because all the different rows. It wanted something different. And we wanted it to be distinctive. And there was no headstones. Like it or not, it's still there was no headstones. But this board caved and said, okay, well, and I agree with the decision that people want to know what it is. So if you have 4 lots, we want a consistency across the board on that design. And that's
So, okay, so you're being blunt that all of a sudden, I'll be blunt right back.
good.
You sold me something that wasn't
I
available.
didn't sell you nothing.
You're the one in charge of the department, correct? You're the chair.
No, I wasn't. Well, maybe I wasn't the chair at
Okay.
the time. But
So-
but I didn't tell you.
When you set regulations, they fall into you, correct? Right? So if you guys had something posted 2 years ago, you wouldn't even know who I am, because it would already be listed, and I wouldn't be wasting your time right now.
So you want to come now and you have 4 spots, so you want 4 times the size of the.
I don't want
the stone.
no,
You want a bigger stone that's what's being allowed.
No,
And that's-
I want what the rest
Stop,
of the.
Bob, you need to
cemetery.
stop yelling.
We gotta,
You need to
Just
stop
the rest of
yelling.
the rest of the cemetery, the same regulations. That's all I'm here for.
So I'm gonna end this discussion, okay? Because we voted on the rules, we compromised to allow headstones on a design that did not have headstones on it, that had been in place for a long time. If the information is not updated on the website, we do not do the website. We can ask for the information to be updated. I've asked several times for it to be on there. And I'm not in control of if that happens or not. I'm not. And these guys aren't, okay?
Mhm.
That's the IT people.
But
So,
You're in charge of the rules.
oh my gosh.
I'm just.
Yes, and we made the rules. But literally, we could do this for years. We could have somebody come in next year and say, how come I can't have this size headstone? We can't keep
But
changing
it's posted
the
now.
rules.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to change the rules. What I'm saying is, you guys set rules, but they weren't posted anywhere.
So again, that
This
is
isn't
not,
an IT issue.
it is an IT issue
It's
because
not.
we don't do the websites. We can ask for the information to be on there and provide the information, but we have no way of putting it on, okay? We are not in charge of putting information on the websites. We're not, okay? So the rule is that it's a 2x3 headstone. We voted on that. We compromised to allow for the headstones when they weren't in the design. And that is the bottom line. I'm very, very sorry, okay, that you're not gonna be happy with this, but that is the decision we made, and the conversation is over.
For this meeting, yes. Bob Galvin's the attorney. And I can follow up with him with any other questions I need.
Follow up with him if you like, of course. Did you have something?
Yes.
Your name and address,
Jerry A.
please.
143 Highland Street.
Okay,
I also live there.
if you're not gonna repeat all the same,
I'm not repeating, I was just focused on 2 when you just talked about maintenance, looking at it. The cemetery stones 4 across is 6 inches in between some. How do you get equipment between them? It's actually harder on some of the areas. 4 stone, that's one part of the area. They're literally a foot apart. And there's stones there that are 2.5 by 3. If you want to get small, they're not all the same. The measurements are different on some of the stones in that area. So then there's part where I called one day and said, hey, could I order one? No, you can't get a cemetery stone unless you passed away. He bought 4. So again, seems like there's different
I
rules.
don't disagree that there has been an issue with the cemeteries and communication and what people have been told to. So under a directive of this board to the new superintendent to get a handle on it.
From the maintenance side, can I ask that? Is there a difference if they're 4 inches between each other? That equipment can't get around that?
You're talking in the new
In
section?
the new section there, if you're married, they're like they're 4 inches apart. You might as well just clamp it together. It's a 4 by 6.
But the uniformity makes it easier to do. If you know everyone is a certain distance apart, then that makes it easier to take care of.
If you're a new visit couch and, you know,
he's not new,
okay,
he's just
visit couch.
was the
And that
town
area-
engineer and is now the superintendent.
And the maintenance in the areas, the grass and everything is up.
So this is a maintenance thing? No, that's no. Driving over the cemetery.
So, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for your time.
Sorry we couldn't make you happy.
I never know.
I'm sorry.
What do you want?
I don't know either,
Who wants the biggest stone?
I guess.
Yeah, no, with me.
It's never, it's like, easy conversations.
We had, we had 2 or
Unfortunately.
3 meetings with people.
Yeah, I think there was 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're moving to the, action items. And we have, Ken Ryan's, contract, okay?
Yep.
So,
What number?
have you guys, it's under number
Must be
3.
Bob.
What? What'd you say?
It used to be Bob, now it's Blunt.
He's calling himself, changed his name to Blunt. So did you guys go over the contract? We all got it on an email?
Yeah, I went over it. I saw
Okay.
it. Yeah.
All right, I don't have a motion, but,
I have a motion. Let's sign it.
yeah. I think we're all very happy that, Ken Ryan is our new DPW superintendent.
Not till you vote.
And, what?
Not till you vote.
Oh, not till we vote. Well,
Well, I make a motion to vote on this, vote on the contract.
okay, so,
Do I have a second?
Yeah.
yes.
All in favor?
All in favor, aye.
Where's the contract? Let's
All
go.
right, now you are officially.
Thank
Yay,
Thank you.
congratulations. All right, that was easy.
Andrew's happy. Are you happy?
I am.
All right, great, perfect, that's done. Okay, so we're gonna move you up, Andrew, if you don't mind coming up to discuss the ADUs before we vote on that. So thanks for coming in, Andrew, to help clarify this stuff for us.
I want to thank Andrew for the input that we've had over the discussion of the last couple of weeks, a month, about what other towns are doing with ADUs.
So Andrew's doing.
Which, I know, and we had the discussion, which I held up on signing this until we get input on what other communities are doing.
That's okay, we have questions, we respect that and we want
And,
answers, so,
That's why Andrew's here.
great. Thanks,
Thank you.
okay.
All for having me. Yeah, Andrew Stewart, Building Commissioner. So yeah, when I first saw that it was on the agenda that you guys were going to be discussing a new policy regarding the ADUs, I was interested and reached out to Ken and was able to get a copy of it. The only thing I honestly, I think it's a good idea, to limit the amount of disturbances into the existing sewer, obviously, and maintaining the integrity of those, lines. My concern was more along the lines of the way the ADU law and regulations are written on the state level. And that we cannot create any regulations, local bylaws, or policies that basically single out ADUs or restrict them further than any other structure. And so one of the things I wanted to bring up and address was to see if you had looked at the general bylaw, because the general bylaw actually requires under sewer connections that a separate and independent building sewer shall be provided for every building, except where one stands in front and one's to the rear. Otherwise, you have to make every attempt to get an independent and separate sewer connection. So that's actually what's in the bylaw now. So if we do a policy that's going to say, well, ADUs, we only want ADU, to do this, without saying that every accessory structure or every second structure that is serviced by a sewer needs to do it, we might get into some trouble with the state as far as how they look at unreasonable regulations, and it's for solely the reason that you're singling out the ADU in it. I think we agree that it's the right thing, but I also wanted to just bring that to your attention so that potentially we could make an amendment to the general bylaw at Springtown meeting to change that aspect, so that, because it's kind of, I was talking with Matt and Ken and Bob and you, Diane, about it, and it's kind of counterintuitive to what we're looking to do now, which is protect the integrity of our systems instead of, the incursions. And really, it still requires, that section still requires that they get a permit from the DPW to add a second, even if it's utilizing an existing connection to add something in the rear, that section still requires that they get a permit with the DPW. So you would still be involved in the permitting process. You could still charge a fee, all of that, and still be involved with inspections on how that is connected to the existing sewer line. The thing that I wanted to just be cognizant of is whether or not the existing sewer line would be able to handle another load coming in, if the existing water would be able to handle that additional load of another house. And if that was the original discussion between Paul Duras and I, was that the water at least was they wanted the water to be separate, but they wanted the sewer to be the same. So I got confused when I saw the policy, and I just wanted to kind of bring those thoughts up and kind of get on the same page, obviously, because it's a confusing thing. And like Bob said, you want to kind of look at what other towns are doing, and I looked at what other towns are doing, and everybody's pretty much doing whatever they want, and there's not a whole lot of guidance on this subject from the state. And I've submitted that that feedback to the state, actually as recent as today, in a survey about ADU permits that I've issued in the past year. I told them again, I said that I'd be willing to participate in like a virtual session or whatever, because they do need to provide better guidance on a lot of things, numbering, how we should be numbering these things, whether or not they should be, it's recommended that they have a separate connection, whether they, for utilities, and, whether they should have these separate meters. Of course, that's guidance, and it's ultimately up to the town to make the decisions, especially at least on the things that we handle, how we want to do it around that. And that's obviously your decision on what's best for you. But I did want to just bring it to your attention that the bylaw actually is written opposite of what your policy will be. And so I think that could be problematic. Not that the intention, I think, is good, and the intention actually makes it easier, to hook up an ADU, because you've got the existing connection there, and you can just connect in and not be digging up the street and the sidewalk and in the right of way. But at the same time, like I said, it's more of a procedural legality, thing of being in compliance with the HLC and their regulations.
Go ahead.
Can I refute everything you said? No.
No, whatever. Our policy that we're trying to follow, the law, the ADU law,
Yes.
is contradicting the bylaw, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes.
They kind of contradict.
Yeah.
The bylaw.
So
Yeah.
that's the state, the ADU law was just written. Sorry, what?
I have a question, Jamie.
Yeah, what's the question?
Yeah, you're actually creating another address to me. And so in emergency situations, how is the 911 going to determine, is it the ADU? Is it the main house? I mean, this is very complicated. Whether we hook up to the existing system or create a new one, it's a new address in my estimation.
Is it a new address?
It kind of is.
Well, it's like an R or
Yeah,
whatever,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
same number, but like,
So
yeah.
again, that's the guidance from the state is,
Yeah.
well, if it's in the rear of the property, you can call it R.
R, right,
Or if it's to the side or in the front or if it's
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
the house, you can call it A.
yeah,
There's been no decision yet.
right. So it's just a badly worded law,
Yeah.
yeah, like others, right? So,
Right, but and it's one of these things that I just, was talking, because we are coming up on the completion of some of these ADUs, and they're just gonna kind of go with what they are gonna go with, but I think that there should be a joint decision that involves, my department, your department, the assessors, we'll get the postmaster over, and see what the fire department, police department, see what we feel is the best thing for, you know, the folks that are gonna be using the address, and like you say, especially in emergency situations.
Good point, Anne Marie.
You know, those are the departments that need to know which structure is which.
Okay, all right. So what were you gonna say? Thank you.
Yeah, so Andrew's absolutely right on the existing zoning rules. And really, it's just a definition I think we have to change because, and again, I wasn't around when these were created. I don't know who was. But the intent, my understanding of the intent was you didn't want to have a combined sewer service. So you didn't want to have 3 or 4 houses all tying into one common sewer service, because when the clog occurs, whose clog is it?
Mhm.
And everybody starts pointing fingers and everybody gets upset. So this was written to say every building must connect up to the sewer
And I
wherever
think-
you can.
And it's probably a lot of that has to do with, you know, areas like Grant Rock and Middle Street and North Street. And,
Sure.
you know, some of these marginal street and some of these properties that have multiple houses or kind of to the rear of houses and situations.
Yeah, I believe that is true. So,
But wait, hold on a second, Bob, let him finish.
so, but I believe the intent really was that every property must connect up, not necessarily every building on each property.
Right.
So I think we can revise the language in this so that it does agree with the proposal that we have. Because the policy that we've created, we believe is in conformance with the law. Because the flip side of that is if you require an ADU to have all separate utility connections, we've seen something from the state that has told other towns that you are now imposing something on the ADU, which is not in conformance with the law, and that's not accepted.
Correct. You're absolutely correct. By amending this the other way, you actually will be making it easier. You
So
know,
we need to, so
not
the
easier, but
general bylaw needs to be amended to fit the wording of the law. Well,
to be
Agreement.
so that you
To
don't even
allow
have
it,
to
yeah.
really have a policy, right? I mean, you know, it's good to have the policy, but if you if you change the bylaw, it'll be, you know, it'll make it so everything's.
So
we want a policy so people know exactly what they're
Yeah.
gonna have to do, but go ahead, Bob.
in the bylaw, we add wordsmith something to the effect, ADUs define ADU connections shall be in the existing service or something along that line.
Yeah, we can definitely,
So basically, we're not changing the bylaw, we're just modifying and amending the bylaw to fit the ADU law.
To add that language, right?
yes.
So it was, because the language, as you said, you know, we still don't want to go back to multiple connections. We just need to add the language, in the case of an ADU, this is what it is.
Right,
Yes.
okay.
So the policy would be step 1, and then getting the bylaw revision done would be step 2, and that needs to be done soon because the warrant just opened.
Right.
So we need to,
Who's gonna do that?
So that's-
This week, if you wanna work on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you guys will work
we'll
on
work
that,
together
Yeah.
and get that figured out.
and that'll go on a town meeting for April, okay. Good,
So on the second part of this, we can talk about the policy, since we're still talking on.
Yes.
Is one of the concerns that I had, is that other towns were charging for water service connection, but there was also a system development charge added to it as an upcharge. And there was on a webpage that I had given to Ken, there was a list of, and I don't see Weymouth in here.
There were a number of towns on there.
Yeah.
Matt, you look-
Weymouth, there was upcharges for
Yeah.
ADU.
Yeah, so I looked at all the towns that you had sent over to Ken and researched, and none of them were specific to ADUs. They were all specific to adding a residential unit for a system development charge. Because I don't think it's legal for you to just say if you're building an ADU, then you have to do this charge. So what towns are doing are they're putting this system development charge on residential units. I provided you guys a list in your packet. One of them was like the town of Walpole, 4 down. They have a $2,440 charge per residential unit. So if you're adding an ADU or if you're building a house, then you have this system development charge. So none of those towns, there were these charges that were associated with adding an ADU, but it wasn't specific to ADUs.
Did they have
'Cause I
these
don't-
charges before this? Do you know
I'm not,
when they
I'm
did,
not sure.
when they
I
did
think
back
a
to?
lot of towns are doing the system development charges so that they can, to Bob's point, kind of start a slush fund to improve what needs to be improved down the line, whether it be upgrading wells,
Right.
upgrading
whatever.
treatment systems, and whatever may be needed. There's
Yeah, but you don't know when those went into effect, so you don't know if they're.
no, I think a lot. I know
doing
that
a
I looked
response.
at Pembroke and they just added system development charges. They're pretty hefty too.
So it does like
Yeah,
for
that's-
40Bs also.
Yeah, it would be for you could. A lot of them have like tiered.
units.
Yeah, a lot of
Each
them have
unit.
tiered systems where it's per residential unit or per apartment.
Right.
They'll have different charges, and then some towns do like per gallon according to Title V. 440 gallons for 4 bedrooms is
Yeah,
this
so,
much.
so the point is, we're not singling out an ADU. We're getting it across the board, any new development
Mhm.
per unit, per gallon, per this, so that the current taxpayers and ratepayers are not picking up all that new development,
Mhm.
and the new development is not contributing anything to it. And that's the issue, is that, bringing it up to, and then what, originally, we talked about that as years ago, it was a conservation fee.
Mm.
Now they changed the terminology, system improved, development fee.
Mm.
So over time, things change, but I think it's a good idea to follow suit what other communities are doing, because, a new source approval process is expensive, our sewer systems are expensive, systems are expensive, and, why should the current ratepayers, pay for the new guys coming out of the block and they don't have to pay a thing?
And they paid for plowing, so it's a difference.
So,
Right, so that's a fee schedule, so it's not gonna be in this policy, but we
Yeah.
definitely are gonna have that on maybe the next agenda, we'll start looking at fee schedules for.
Yeah, I think we could look at updating, I guess you can see I already started looking
Yes.
at other towns' fees
Yes.
and we can kind of get ours updated. Separating, I like the idea of separating a connection fee and a system development charge because we don't want new connections for ADUs. But if they're putting a residential unit in, then we should be able to charge them a system development charge,
Mhm.
just like we would charge anyone else.
Mm-hmm,
and we're consistent with other towns.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
And that was the first, that's what I was saying before.
yeah,
I want to be consistent. I don't want Marshall to be the only one out there. I want to be consistent.
yeah.
One way or the other. Because, as Andrew said, the state's not giving us much guidance on this.
Right, but it's good that you brought that up, Bob, because it led us to this, which is, I think it's important that we do.
Yeah.
Yep, so, thank you. All right,
Quick question, if I could.
yes, name and address, please.
Derek Dean, 145 James Point.
Yeah,
So this thing that we're talking about, this connection fee that's going for the ADUs, would this come for any future buildings of units? Would that be charged per unit as well?
it's not a connection fee.
Right.
So we're not talking about connection fees for ADUs. They're actually, it's two kind of different conversations, but say your question again?
Well, it's when you're talking about per unit with this $2,000 fee, like to make this slush fund or whatever it was. Does that go into like any buildings that might be built in the future? Would that charge go per unit towards the developer?
So we didn't say anything about a $2,000 fee or slush fund.
I thought
But-
it was discussed.
So we're talking about what other towns are doing.
We're trying to
as-
keep compliance with
Let's keep it in
other towns.
mind.
Right, but we're-
Like
we're-
that idea.
So this was just a discussion. Our ADU policy that the department created is just to clarify how people hook up their ADU off their existing hookups. And we want to have that policy in effect so that it's clear for people what to do. But there aren't any fees associated with that, okay? Because they're going off their own system. They're hooking up to their own system. And then the other part of the discussion is something that Bob brought up that we were just looking into, what other towns are doing for these fees, these other fees. But that's not for the ADUs. It got wrapped into the conversation because it was a question that was brought up. So.
The point of clarification on.
Sorry that's
yeah.
confusing.
Point of clarification for you. The issue is not, we're not singling out the ADUs. We're looking at other towns of how they deal with adding new buildings, new units to the system. So if someone's doing is putting a new house in, there's a water connection fee, and then there's also used to be a conservation fee. There was an upcharge. This goes back into the 90s. What I was asking Ken at the time, are we still doing that? And the question is, I think we are to a point, but now they're calling it a system development charge. And a lot of towns are doing that so that the current ratepayers, because someone came in and we have to expand the well, the current ratepayers don't get hit with an additional charge. The developer or whoever's developing the property would actually cover that cost. It's protect the ratepayers is that point.
There's not fees with the ADUs. It just got wrapped into the conversation because it was a question that Bob had when we were discussing the policy. So does that answer your question? And we're going to be looking at the system development fees going forward, but that's not about the ADUs. Yes, name and address.
Monica Smith, 145 James.
Could you speak up, please?
Monica Smith, 145
Good.
James Point Road. Is that loud enough?
Yep, well, they can't, it's hard to hear up
You're
here.
hard of hearing, come on up.
Oh,
come on up.
sorry.
Yep.
What was the slush fund?
There isn't, I don't know
Oh,
who brought that.
Matt?
Somebody said that, I don't know what.
Yeah,
Is
it's,
there an
there
issue
isn't
with that,
one.
right?
yeah,
You said something about a slush fund and
it's not,
It's,
it's a way for us to expand our water system if it needs to be, if it gets overdeveloped, essentially.
it was just an offhand remark, there isn't
oh,
one.
well,
So-
we were confused, so that's
Yeah.
why the
Yeah.
question
Okay.
was asked. And
So the point of clarification, what he really meant is a sewer development charge
yeah,
fund. That would be the
System
grouping,
development charge,
any new system would go
section.
in and go into that. And it was a slang that he had put
Oh,
slush
I know,
versus
whenever
actually
it's
spelling it
slush
out.
fund, it gets everyone all excited.
No
so
slang of public meeting.
Okay, did that answer your question?
I think so. Did it
Okay,
answer your
thanks.
question?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yes,
So.
name and address,
Katie?
please.
System development charge,
Okay, name and address, please.
AKA
I'm
slush.
sorry, we can't hear you, say it again.
Katie Gensheimer, 16 Tupelo Road.
Thank you.
So when we're talking about all of this, the ADUs,
Right.
and you've got like a home, because forgive my lack of knowledge, but I thought like you could have, well, Andrew, don't get any ideas, I'm not doing anything at my house, but if I have a shed and I decide that I'm gonna make it like something more like that,
A shisha?
you could stick your grandmother in or something, you know?
A granny shed.
A granny
Granny
shed.
shed.
So, because I felt like that's kind of what the ADUs are meant to be, like to help people, and you can put grandma out in the shed.
Right.
So, if you have the shed on your property and you have town water and you're not necessarily building a new thing, do you still get that upcharge, or is it just for people that are making, who are, like if I go to Andrew and I request a permit to make my shed a grandma abode, then that would make it an ADU?
So the ADUs, if you turn your shed into an apartment for grandma, your water and your sewer for that shed that somebody's gonna live in needs to be hooked up to your existing line.
Okay.
So there should be no fees associated with that because that's not how the law is written, that it's allowed. So
Okay.
we're just writing a policy to just clarify how people are to do it so that they don't have any questions. And it's
All right.
really not changing, we didn't change anything, we're just clarifying the
So
policy.
then we, like, I wouldn't have to say, like, 911, my grandma's in my shed having an issue.
Well, that's what
Is it
they thought.
16 rear, like.
Yeah, right, so Anne Marie brought that topic up, which is a good question. So they're gonna get together with the other departments and clarify, like,
Because to me,
how to
that
let
gets us
emergency
into-
services know if it's the
Yeah.
shed or the house where they need help.
But to me, that also gets us into like another tax issue where like now my shed that grandma's living in is gonna get me taxed again.
Well, I think that there will be assessments on those, definitely, because now it's another residence. So, but that's not our department at all.
But is that different from the ADU? Like, I don't get what the.
No, that, you're describing, the
I
granny
think-
shed is kind of a description of the ADU similar to that. But it can also be in the house.
I think, Andrew, is that ADU, it has to have its own living space, so an ADU needs a kitchen and a bathroom.
Yeah,
So you
It-
can't just
it
turn
would
your
have to
shed
be
into
quite a
it.
big
It has to, yeah, it has to have,
Kitchen.
it has to have a whole living area. There's a definition in
Habitability,
Yeah.
It's gotta have areas for sleeping, for sanitary, so cleaning your body, so you gotta have a shower or a bathtub. For cooking and cleaning, so there's some sort of a stovetop or, electric or gas. And then cleaning, so you've gotta have some sort of sink, of area to sleep and,
Hot water.
laundry hookups.
Hot
Yeah.
water.
Laundry hookups.
yeah,
You need
Yeah.
hot water.
hot water, right, it has to be like a, like a little,
So you've got
mini house or mini apartment, yeah.
And the minimum, like, room sizes that you need to have, like a 70 square feet for a room. Those are like the minimum things for human habitation,
Okay.
that you have to have for it to be an ADU. Otherwise, it's just kind of like a pool house or a hangout shed. or
Right.
something.
All right.
Andrew, could you explain what the Board of Public Health requirements for ADUs are in the septic systems? Because there's been some
Yeah, currently,
confusion on that part.
yeah, then the law was passed in February of last year. So there was a lot of catch up and they did it quickly. They had all their meetings and public comment basically in December and then had their hearings in January and then issued their regulations in February. It was pretty wild. So everybody kind of played catch up this year as far as building code, septic, obviously, your connections, the utility companies, everybody's been kind of playing catch up with how they're going to handle these things. With Title V, what they've decided to do now is if you're going to add a detached ADU, right? So if you have an existing home and you're going to do an addition and it's attached to the existing structure, you can make a modification to the existing structure so that maybe you eliminate a room somewhere and to create a new bedroom or something within that structure so that you don't exceed the amount of bedrooms on that septic system, right? Or you've got an allowance that septic system may be designed for more bedrooms than are currently in the existing house and you're just filling that septic system by adding doing an addition that adds a bedroom. But if you're going to do an addition that would add more bedrooms than is allowed by the septic system, you would be required to upgrade that septic system to the right amount of bedrooms. But when you're doing a detached ADU, they are requiring that you do your own septic system for that ADU, right? If your existing septic system for the existing house is not up to current Title V, you have to not only do a new septic system for the ADU, but you have to upgrade your Title V, your existing house's septic system to Title V as well. So that could be potentially, $50,000-$60,000 even more, you know, in septic systems before you even do anything related to a single foundation for the ADU.
So is the Board of Health getting, is there a lot that are doing that? Are they getting a lot of,
I know there's at least 2 that have had to do that.
that
Yeah.
have had to?
Yep.
So,
Other ones have had, you know, were done before that law or regulation passed at the state level or whatever happened, the guidance that they got from, you know, as far as their regulations and whatever they've been doing. But they, you know, now there've been a couple of ADUs permits that have been issued where they've had to upgrade the existing house's system to current Title V and do a new system for the ADU.
What town?
Mhm.
What? Yeah.
In Marshfield?
In Marshfield, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
so my concern is a water provider in the zone twos. Is, within the zone two, could that upgraded be if there were so many, close to a well, get to a secondary system versus just a standard system?
And I think the Board of Health is generally doing that with the WRPD protection and wellhead protection. They're generally trying to have those denitrifying systems or whatever it is that's more protective of the water supply.
Especially if you're gonna have 2 septic systems on one lot.
Yeah, I think, you know, I don't know what the best solution, that's kind of not my ultimate,
No.
that's my situation, but, you know, I do know that that's what their regulations currently are, that they're making you at least upgrade if the existing system does not meet current Title V, that you're at least having to upgrade that so that you'll have 2 current Title V compliant systems, you know, on the site instead of one non and one compliant and one non.
So I had a conversation with new superintendent on this, that we need to have a discussion as the water providers of Marshfield with the Board of Health to discuss, you know, if they're going to have upgraded systems within the protected zone of Zone 2 and a second system in there. What could we require the site or that it's going to be within the Zone 2 be upgraded to? What our rules are, and what are the limits, what can we do and what we can't do, and you know, come up with a roadmap. Because this is, like I said, it's all new. So basically, we need the Board of Health as water commissioners to help us out protecting our water supply.
Agreed.
A lot of it will be challenged in courts.
Mm.
A lot.
Mm.
Especially that one with the 2 septic systems. That's gonna be thrown out.
I thought so, but it doesn't look like it so far.
Maybe someone not with enough money.
That's true.
That's what it's.
But that's the thing, that is very restrictive,
Yeah,
but that's the one thing in the ADU bylaw or in the ADU regulations that they say they do not consider to be an unreasonable regulation is anything having to do with water protection or wetlands protection. So,
That makes sense, yeah.
And that's why we should talk to the Board of Health.
But if you upgrade the main to a Title V, if you spend all that money and then you have an ADU, why not just tie into that? Make it big enough to tie in instead of putting another
well, I
septic.
think that some of these systems, they are able to design so that the leaching field is shared and that but it has to have a separate chamber, or pump chamber or whatever.
Yeah, tank,
The
okay,
tank,
yeah, that would make sense,
Yep.
yeah. A lot of it's brand new, it's just, it's gonna change.
Exactly, yeah.
We do the best we can.
Mm.
Let's move on.
All right, so, thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thanks.
We have a question?
Thank you, Andrew.
Yes,
Wait a minute.
hold on a moment,
Yeah,
Andrew,
Joe,
just in case.
Road. I think a lot of people don't understand that from the board DPW viewpoints, this discussion is about connection fees only for houses that are served by the sewer system. It doesn't apply to people up off, like the woman talked about being from Tupelo Road. There's no sewer system there. So as far as from the DPW's viewpoint, that's just not in your purview as to what happens on a property like that.
Well, yes, it does.
Well, hold on a second, Bob. So we had two different discussions. So the ADU policy, which is where we need to vote on. And then Bob had brought up what he thought other towns were doing with fees, which we can't and aren't doing for ADUs. But that led us to discover this system development charge that many towns have in place for residents, for new residents, per residence. That's fees, that's not, we're not voting on that, we're not making any policies on that. It was just a discussion, and we're gonna, look at that going forward.
Can I just add one thing?
Yeah,
This might help you. So we have a statement in this policy that says when the property is not serviced by sewer, the DPW will defer to the Board of Health, who regulates on-site wastewater disposal.
And did I just hear, and with regards to that, did I just hear that you can have a joint leach field? But you need a separate solids change?
so we're not gonna answer that question because it's not that's the Board of Health. This was just Andrew offering that information as part of the discussion, but.
Will the policy about having a separate needed water service for an ADU
You can't have,
remain in place?
no,
No.
we don't.
So they have one meter, one connection,
For the primary house and for.
and then it's up to the homeowner how they just distribute, how they ask for money for their water from whoever's living in their ADU. But we have one, they're gonna connect off of their, let's just read the policy so that maybe that will answer your question. What page is it on?
It's in
It's
section
the page
4.
before you.
Oh. Okay. So we're just gonna read it, okay, and then, all right, so we won't read the first paragraph, but so just people, so that people know water. ADU shall have their water service line connected after the principal dwelling's water meter. One water bill will be sent to the property to the attention of the principal dwelling owner. The principal dwelling owner is responsible for all water charges for the property. Separate water permit will not be required, provided the site plan submitted for the building permit clearly shows the water service connection after the principal dwelling's meter. The principal dwelling shall be required to update their water meter to the latest model. That just involves them allowing us to go in and update the meter. There's no fees. Meters installed in addition to the principal water meter will be done by the homeowner at their expense. That's if they have one. Sewer. ADUs shall have their sewer service connected into the existing sewer service for the principal dwelling. When the property is not serviced by sewer, the DPW will defer to the Board of Health, who regulates on-site wastewater disposal. The principal dwelling owner is responsible for all sewer charges for the property based on water usage. Trash. As ADUs are accessory to the principal dwelling, a separate trash fee will not be charged to the ADU. Since the property only has one trash fee, only one trash barrel, 35 gallons or less, will be collected weekly. All other trash must be in the pay-as-you-throw bags. Variance. The Board of Public Works may, at its discretion, grant variances from the provisions of this policy upon appeal or impose reasonable conditions in lieu of full compliance therewith if the majority determines that the requirements herein would cause unnecessary and undue hardship upon the owner of the property. Ken, would you explain that part, just because some of these people weren't here for that meeting?
Well, it's basically saying that if it does cause a hardship because, say, there's a piece of ledge in between the house and the ADU, and you'd have to blast out ledge in order to run a line. If that is going to cause so much hardship, you wouldn't make it feasible, then you can petition the board to see if they would give you relief that maybe you would end up with 2 water hookups in that situation.
Which is just maybe that might happen, but probably, hopefully it's gonna happen. But it's covering that, just in case. Does that answer your question, Joe? Okay.
I don't want to be the Grinch here, but sounds like the DPW is leaving a lot of money on the table.
Well, we can't okay, so we're not allowed to charge anything for ADUs according to the law. We can't create fees for them or any other thing. That's just the way the law's written.
Seems
Yeah.
like it, but it is a separate living unit though. And even on the point of not allowing an extra barrel for that, I mean, the house might have four or five kids in it. And then you got grandma.
Okay, well,
or the shed behind
We
it.
can't, according to the law, we can't. So we're following the way the law is written. That's what we have to do.
Is that,
So-
that's true, from our building,
No, we can't have kids.
So we've checked this with legal. So, do you have a question? Now, did you raise your hand?
I did.
Okay.
So ADUs can't be rented to anybody aside from family members.
We're not answering that question. It's not our purview. And, you could ask the planning board or you could read the law for that answer.
Okay.
Yes,
Eric Kelly, Peterson Power.
Hi.
Do you allow for the option for the homeowner to put a second meter in, at least for the ADU?
well, it says if they want to put in the meter, a second meter, that's their expense.
We have a,
But it would have to come after our main meter.
Yep.
That's for them. If they want to know
I wanted to
how much monitor how much water or whatever that unit is using, but it has to come after our meter. So-
a point of clarification.
Yes,
I wanted to clarify that we do have a policy for a minus meter for irrigation systems. So that same policy would fit, if we went to an ADU, they could
why
have a
don't you
separate
explain
meter.
for what that
A
is?
minus meter is like
No.
if you,
Not gonna.
this problem is you could, after the main meter, they could have meters that go one to the house and one to the ADU, and they can divide it up. But as far as the Board of Public Works and the town is, the DPW, there's only one bill. How the homeowner divides up the, who uses what is up to the homeowner, not to the town.
But our meter comes first and that's what we're getting our readings on. So anything they do after that, they're doing on their own property at their own expense. Okay, one more question, we're moving
I
on.
just want to offer a little info.
Okay.
When you begin your discussion with Board of Health, keep in mind that Board of Health has regulations and the state also has regulations for separating leach fields from drinking water wells. And I know Marshfield adopted a more stringent requirement. Like the distances in the town of Marshfield are supposed to be greater than what the state requires. You know, Bob knows this topic well. So when you do talk to them, and you do see additional set leach fields or leach fields with additional flowage being created, please remember to protect our drinking water levels.
Yes.
Because I've seen variances passed where they should not have been passed.
Well, not by us.
Not by you, exactly, by the Board of Health.
Right, but not by us. So,
That's why
yeah,
I'm
we
concerned.
are gonna talk with them, yeah.
Move on.
Okay, so we're gonna move on. Let's vote on this policy.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, so I make a motion to vote on the, ADU policy. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay, perfect. Great, so we're at Willow Street.
Moving right along.
So what's happening? Moving right along. You wanna update us on that?
Sure, so, we're doing the design of restoring the Willow Street Bridge, which would require the bridge to be a little bit bigger than it already is, and therefore we would end up having to enlarge some of the footings, and we would get in the way of some of the properties that are there. So we went to town meeting, and this was voted on the town meeting floor to take either temporary or permanent easements on those properties that are in that area. So this is the document that the town voted on to accept, and now the board needs to execute the document.
So can you just explain the difference between, I mean, I know the difference between temporary or permanent, but why?
The difference between temporary and permanent is temporary would be something where the construction of the new bridge would impact that area. Permanent would be if, say, a footing or some riprap that's around the edges of that new bridge would be left there. So
Okay.
it would be structures that are left in place
Okay.
permanently.
And then the temporary would be, once the work is all done,
Once the
That-
construction was done, it would be restored and then it would be back to normal.
all right, okay. And then, just because there was questions that we're gonna be looking at, we're applying for a grant for this, correct?
Absolutely, for the
Okay.
construction, yes.
Yes, okay, great. Okay, any questions? Anybody?
Nope.
Joe?
No.
Okay, perfect. All right, so,
So I have a notary here
okay.
that will,
Oh, right, okay.
because
Do we
this
need?
needs to be notarized.
Who's the note?
Okay. Anne Marie.
Have you met Anne Marie?
Have you met Anne?
Yeah.
Do we have a motion for this? Or do we just need to sign it, have it notarized?
So basically, we just make a motion to execute the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
order of takings by eminent
Yeah.
domain based on the legal documents and what was presented at town meeting.
Right,
Do I have a
okay,
second on
yes,
that?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we have to sign this, should we wait, do we do it now,
You can
Anne
sign
Marie?
it now, yeah, you can sign it, everybody can sign it now, and then I'll notarize it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll sign it now.
And that way, Marie can,
Anne Marie, you need to just-
You don't want to say? You can
We're
sign.
gonna take a 5-minute break to sign this document.
Oh, you got it, Bob. Here you go.
Back online.
Can we come,
Yeah.
do we need her? Do we need Amy, or?
No,
Is
we
this
don't
the
need
bill?
She's notified.
She's
No,
still
Amy,
recording.
she's,
recording and she'll watch the
she,
feedback.
okay, all right, great. Okay, so we're back. All right, where were we? Okay, so we are at 202634 Earth Materials Contract Award.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
So we went out to bid for the delivery of earth materials within the town of Marshfield to either a job site that we're working on or a stockyard. It is a year-long contract. We advertised, Central Register, the Marshfield Mary Town Hall and Combis. We got one bid. It was from JGB Recycled Aggregate Materials LLC with an estimated bid price of $104,350. We've worked with JGB in the past. They're a local contractor in Marshfield. We've been satisfied with their quality of work and materials, and we're looking to get them on board because we're part of the consortium, and the consortium is the South Shore Consortium. It's all around the South Shore, and we were hoping that we could find someone more local that would have better prices for us, and it seems that we did with this bid. So
where do you come up with that rate, with that price, if it's kind of an estimate, but you don't know
so
exactly where to get it?
what I did was I tried to gather from all the different departments of the DPW on how much material that we order in a year.
Okay,
So how we came to this number is I basically said, we might use this many tons of stone a year, sand, recycled material, and I had the bidders put a unit price to each of those. That way we could have a total that we could compare.
okay, all right.
Yeah, what's missing is a spreadsheet. You didn't give us the spreadsheet. Did you have a spreadsheet that went along with this?
There was only one bidder.
No, but you had a spreadsheet of what the list of the items were. The bid items.
I guess I didn't.
You just said you had a list of bid
You-
items.
You took an average of like the last, last year or the last?
I can't. Well, for the totals.
Yeah,
Yeah, I kind of had to try to I had to get stuff from the water department, from the highway department, from the sewer on all different, how many truckloads they got basically, and I had to kind of put a tonnage to each truckload to come up with a number. But I know what you're saying, the unit prices.
Yeah, what I'm asking is for the record, I don't need it right now.
Yeah.
But as part of the record, you should have the list of the items that you were out to bid, what his bid price was that came up to the 104,000.
Yep. Yeah.
Just have it in the record, so if someone going back, they'll look at it. We bid 104,000, based on a itemized list,
Yeah, which is
which is your
an
question.
estimate, basically, of
Yeah.
what we used, what we got over the last year, or
Yeah.
how many years? Was it the last year that you looked at? Or,
Yes. Yep.
yeah,
It was-
okay,
It was.
all right.
So
it
the
was
second,
last.
second piece is, you also said that the consortium has the same items. Is there a compare and contrast of what the consortium price was versus what the price we got out of this?
Yes, there was. Yeah, we got. There was.
And we got better pricing.
Yes.
All I'm asking is for the record, show it so that if it was audited,
Yep.
why did you bid it? And why didn't go to the consortium, because we got better prices than this? Here's the consortium price, here's the bid price. We went with the bid price, and that's why we're not using.
And this is a non-exclusive bid, so we can go to the consortium for
Oh, yeah.
certain things, and we can go
Right.
to this for certain.
It's a
things.
pick list.
Yeah.
if
I
you
get-
find that they have a better price on some, a
Yes. but we
particular
needed-
thing when you
Yes, but we
want
needed
it.
to put a contract in place that had a total amount that we could spend,
Okay,
so that it could get approved.
Okay.
With
I
accounting, so
understand.
that's why we
okay,
came up with what we came up with. And
very good.
So I wanted the procurement record to show the reasoning and why we're bidding that.
Yeah,
I'm a certified procurement officer for the state. It's part of the
Okay.
record.
we know.
Here we go. Here we go.
He understands.
Again, I'm not getting paid for this job, but I'm just saying, that's the
Alright.
standard.
You've been
Okay.
here 21 years.
All right, okay, any questions?
And John, you're still my next door neighbor, you're a great guy.
Yeah, any questions on this, John? Okay,
I got a
yes.
question.
So, Mr. Savage, just some clarification, when you talk about materials, what are the materials
it's
specifically?
it's crushed stone. It's all materials that we would use for a construction project. So it's crushed stone, sand, and then recycled gravel materials.
Recycled asphalt?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just wanted, and then I mentioned that at a recent Board of Health meeting, it was on the agenda, there was a discussion on the developer of the Ferry Street 40B offering his well-sorted sand at a discount to town residents. That's all I don't know where that.
That was on the Board of Health meeting?
Board of Health meeting, they talked about making a deal with the developer of the Ferry Street 40B to make well-sorted sand being removed from the site available to the town's residents at a cut price. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know where it might
So
be.
we wanna make a deal with the devil?
What, no, so can
Maybe
you guys
that's one
look
way to
in,
put it, but I,
I understand
can you
that.
guys look into that and see what they're taking up there and offering out? If we could use it. Right?
thank you.
All right, good. Okay, so motion to award contract 2026-34 earth materials to the lowest qualified bidder, JGB Recycled Aggregate Materials LLC of Marshfield, in the sum of an estimated annual amount of $104,350, based on the specifications and hourly rates in the contract documents, and authorize the chairman, the Board of Public Works or designee to execute the contract documents when they have been prepared.
Second.
Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, okay, contract 2026-04, high school battlefields change order. Hopefully not.
So this is change order 3. I think I had done 1 and 2 just at
Yeah.
a recent meeting. So again, this is the high school ball fields work that's being done right now. Change orders 1 and 2 were because we had some additional labor doing some concrete slabs and some irrigation changes. Since then, Activitas, the design engineer, identified that there was a potential concern with stormwater coming off the road that between the ball fields and the Martinson School, and that water might run off into the new ball fields that they're building. So they came up with a design to add a new catch basin and basically to pipe that water into the under drain system in the ball fields. So that change order was worth $11,110, brings the total contract value up to $1,224,837.88, which is less than what the CPC authorization was of $1.27 million. So staff recommends that we go ahead and approve change order number 3.
How did they not know that before? Like, that there was gonna be that?
That was a concern. They didn't, I don't believe they had survey that went that far off the ball fields. So
Okay.
it was after they started to really get in there and look at it that they said, this might be a problem. We should take care of this before we finish the project.
Right, well, better to do it now.
Yes.
Okay, questions, guys?
No, I'm all for it.
All right, great. Bob, nothing, right? So,
I'm good.
okay, motion is,
No, question in the back of the room.
what?
There's a question in the back of the room.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You heard Kelly Gates and Pat. In regards to the drainage, the new drainage that they're setting up, that's one thing I haven't heard is where is that stormwater draining off from the ball fields and the roadway now going to?
So that goes into the existing drainage system
Yeah.
that's around the school. Yep. Which goes all the way from basically that field between the high school and the middle school and goes down the road and actually crosses 139. And if you go to the light at 139, like if you're crossing over towards Roach, there's an impoundment area on the left. And that's where all the water from that high school complex goes.
It's not going into Wheeler's Pit and our well fields.
What's that?
It is not going into Wheeler's Pit, which is where our well fields are.
Yeah.
It's going the other way.
Yeah, that was one thing I was wondering when they were discussing these fields is that, especially where the people that volunteer themselves to put this forward was that they were having drainage issues. That's one thing I asked. I was like, when you do a drainage system, where's it going? It's the one answer they weren't too sure in regards to it. So I wasn't too sure if it was going in the back of the fields, but it's not. They already have a drainage system that's already off property, I guess you could say, going. And I don't know if it'll make a big difference to it, but in regards to the runoff from the Patterson School going into this new drainage, I mean, do we know what the capacity is of that storm water system?
Yeah, the engineer looked at that, and it's not a lot of water. It's not a real big area. It's just there was always ponding behind that one dugout, and they just wanted to make sure they took care of that so that we didn't go through all this work and end up with a puddle over there.
All right, I appreciate that.
Okay. All right, so motion to approve the ball fields upgrade agreement contract number 2026-04A. Change order number 3 for Northeast Sports Field and Recreation of Marshfield, Mass. For a total of $11,110. Good number. And to authorize the chair or designated person to execute the contract documents when they have been prepared.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, okay, so appointment of town engineer. So I have some comments to make on this. So I just want to point out and that when we before Rod retired and when we started the playgrounds project last year, we'd got that money from to do the base on to resurface, whatever we call it, the playgrounds. And we didn't know that we had a playground expert on staff, and Matt just really saved us. He stepped up and took the lead on that and did an awesome job, and just lots of unexpected blessings in that with his work. He worked, really hard and just really, it was vital to the success of the, doing that. And also, I did a little research myself, and so when Rod retired, it's my understanding that Matt fast-tracked his study to take his PE exam, and I did a little research and found out that it's, and he passed it on his first try. And in my research that I did, I found out that for civil, right, engineering, that it's 55%, only 55% pass on their first try. So I am really happy that we have Matt, and we can be safe that we have a new town engineer, and I hope that we're gonna vote unanimously on that, because we did put out in the town, and we had that one applicant who's sitting here. So we've just, I feel like we're really blessed with the staff that we've had, and it continues with our new superintendent and our hopefully new town engineer. Do you have any comments on this, John?
I do. Matt, you've done an excellent job. You've done your homework. Any questions that I've asked or the board's asked, you've come up with the answer without stumbling through. You really showed that you really enjoyed your work, and I hope you do well as the town engineer. So I'm in support of you as the town engineer.
Oh, and also doing a great job on the looking at the pipe scribing and our new sewer expansion. Really, really important work
He
with
knows
that.
He knows his job.
Knows his stuff for sure. Yeah, I'm really happy about that. So do you have any questions, John? Bob? Sorry.
I have concerns.
Okay.
One, I haven't seen his resume.
I haven't seen her here, but like,
I understand beforehand. Bottom line is, I think that in fairness to the town of Marshfield, we need to go through a procurement process to find out what kind of talent out there that, and basically put it out to bid. And if Matt is the top choice, then Matt's the top choice, but I think we should, not ordain him right off the bat. I think that we should put it out to bid and see what comes in. That's my position.
Yeah, so I want to quote Attorney Galvin when we were discussing when we were discussing Ken's contract, and I can't quote actually, but he said something to the effect of, it's really important to value the people that you have, that you know are good, that do the job well. It's been the practice that, and it should be the practice in any organization, that when you have good qualified people, you promote from within. And we have done that. I mean, Ken went into the town engineer position when Rod retired. We didn't have any questions about that at the time. Nobody was looking for Ken's resume. And we didn't send out an ad
I
on
was
that
asking for
either. You were?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I disagree, and
It's okay. I'm one commissioner.
yeah, that's okay. I mean, I want to hear everybody's opinions, so
Make a motion.
I'm gonna make a motion that we appoint Matt Kinlan as town engineer.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
He's abstaining, but he'll come around.
I just wanted to, but, I mean, you know, I'll never say what I said.
That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. We all are. Congratulations to both of you.
Congratulations.
Okay,
Where are we?
we have the
School Street.
School Street update on
Traffic.
traffic lights. School Street
Yep,
update
so-
traffic light.
The last meeting we had, I had stated that we were gonna have a meeting with the developer over there at the Southfield Buds, like the next day. So I had that meeting, they came forward and they said that the costs for doing the traffic lights over here at School Street have gone up in the time that, they planned for it. So they're actually looking for additional funding. So they've asked if the town would be willing to seek a grant for that work. So I told them that I would look into it, that I would talk to my board, because obviously with a grant, there's only so much grant money that goes around. So there's a potential that grant money would preclude us from doing another project. So I still haven't gone through and done all the evaluation on the grant program, but when I do that, I'll come back to the board and let the board know where we stand.
At a certain date. I mean, price keeps going up as we.
Yes.
I know we're not stalling.
Mhm.
You know, we're just going through the process. But how long do you think this is?
maybe not the next meeting, but the meeting after that for
Okay.
sure, so another month or so.
Yeah, that's all,
Yep.
yeah, all right. I was, worried it would be 6, 8 months.
Oh, no, no.
All right, thank you. I'm all set.
Okay, all right, so, questions on that?
Nope.
All right, great. And then we have, update of proposed sidewalk at Town Pier. So you put this on, John?
I did.
Okay.
So, I know there was a meeting of CVC for the funding of this. It's already cost a considerable amount of money has been spent on the proposed sidewalk. The applicant, I've looked at the information presented to CPC, and the applicant hasn't filled out even half of what the application calls for. I know that it would come before our board because it would be digging in the shoulder of a road. But also was troubling to me was that the applicant had mentioned to town officials that our staff and I believe also the DPW board was in favor of this sidewalk. So I wanted to clarify that.
So
can you
we're-
recognize?
So, oh, sorry,
Yeah, let her talk.
okay, yes, please.
Mary Murphy, 252 Oakland Street.
Okay.
And I also attended the CPC meeting at the Harbor Walk with John, and I asked I disagree with the harbor master and the placement, and if we're gonna spend money, I'd prefer to see it spent in the way in which people travel, or walk like along the harbor. But at the same token, after that meeting, I went and I talked to the police because there was a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, which was mainly communication, and in particular flood communication for my area. But at that same token, I asked them about the harbor walk because I feel as though Mike, while I think his intentions are good, I feel as though that he doesn't involve the neighborhood in the discussions. And how could we involve more people and community when we're going after a large sum of money? Which, granted, it's going to beautify the neighborhood and that's awesome, but why can't people in the neighborhood be involved in these decisions and in the planning? And I was told within that meeting by both Mike DeMeo and the chief of police that the new superintendent of DPW had approved these plans, and that these were the official, the approval was from the DPW as well as other folks within Brant Rock, including, I think it was the original Brant Rock Village Association and other people. And I just mentioned, I'm kind of a loud vocal person in Brant Rock, and I just want to know, why can't we all be involved at the table when planning? So I mentioned that to Eric and John, but at the same token, it all kind of falls around the communication and what I hear here even tonight with the gentleman with the plot, right? How do we do a better job in communicating to everybody in town, different activities that happen, whether it be the harbor walk or whether it be plot planning. And I think the town has done a good job, with the tidbits and stuff, but I feel as though they can do a lot more. And one of the requests that I had was that for the chief to kind of go back and talk to the other department heads to find out, is there a way for the community to be involved versus just to attend a public meeting, which I get it. You get on the agenda and we get notified, but is there a more official way to go about this so that the department heads could then maybe get together and then come up with maybe a plan, a reporting plan that said.
So we're gonna stick to the topic, which was.
Right, which
the
it kind of goes back
sidewalk.
to the communication, but again, at the end of the day, I'm just wondering, why can't people in town, residents, be involved in the planning?
So we're gonna stick to the topic,
Okay.
which was the sidewalk. And your statement was that, who said,
It was Mike DeMayo and the Virus who told me that the new, Sean Patterson
No.
was the person that has approved this. I don't know if he had mentioned the board as well, but I just want to know, like, how can we all get involved? And again, I just want to be a part of the planning, like.
Okay, so thank you very much, but we're not gonna get into the rest of the, you have good points, but it's not on our agenda. So we're just gonna stop with that, please. We're gonna stop with that. Do you wanna speak to this?
Sure, so there's never been an approval from the DPW, no plans were submitted for approval to the DPW. We did walk the site, and in concept, it was presented as a safety issue to keep people away from vehicles, and I absolutely agree that keeping people away from vehicles is a good thing.
Right. My whole thing is I totally get it and I understand what the agenda is. I just don't think that the placement is right to bring people again across that busy intersection to walk along the left when everyone in the neighborhood walks the pier along the right. Like, it doesn't even matter the winter, spring, summer, everybody gravitates towards the water. So like, I think Mike's intent to try to help with public safety is a good one. I just don't know if the placement is great. Like, I think, again, the intention's good, but I just wonder about the placement.
Thank you. So to be clear, Ken walked the site with the harbor master and agreed that safety is an important factor, period. And this was never presented to this board at all. I wasn't in this conversation. I don't know what was said, but just to clarify, we haven't gotten anything on it. We have expressed no opinion as a board. And Ken's opinion, as he stated, was that safety is an important factor, period.
Okay.
But we're, if it's on the topic of the sidewalk only.
I'm just wondering, Ken, did you agree with the placement?
I didn't really look at the plans to do a detailed analysis.
Okay.
Right, so as he said, he agreed safety is an important factor.
And
but we're not discussing the harbor master's plan or not, or whatever. We haven't seen it, so we're not discussing that. We just, you put it on because you knew that there was information being shared that wasn't accurate.
I just wanted to, clear the record is that our superintendent was in favor of safety, but safety is throughout the town, and that the board, the DPW board, had never discussed this. So it's just to clarify it, that the harbor master was basically, what should I say? He was.
Well, we weren't in the conversation, so we don't know exactly what was said, but.
I think he was stretching the truth.
That could be. Yes.
Joe Pasevich, Wilson Road. So I don't want to make this sound like a press conference, but does the DPW board have an idea who has standing to propose work such as that at that location? Isn't that land under the control of the select board or the DPW? And should the harbor master be making these kinds of proposals? He doesn't have jurisdiction or standing to determine what happens to town property.
I appreciate that question. It's not in our purview to have an opinion on the harbor master's projects unless it comes before us. So.
But he's put an application, sorry to interrupt, but he's put in an application, I understand?
No, not with this board, not with the DPW.
You mentioned a proponent being the harbor master.
We have seen nothing.
Has the CPC seen something?
So we haven't seen it.
That's gotta have a place on the form that says who the proponent is, and he can't propose projects on town.
I agree, it's town property, it's a board of select board, that's who's in charge.
So the only reason this was on the agenda is because
Clarify.
there was a statement that involved the superintendent and this board, which was obviously inaccurate.
Correct.
But we have not seen anything for this project, so we weren't gonna talk about it any further, but I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Bob, anything on that? Let's move on. Okay, thanks, Sean. So we have, we're gonna move update on the DPW, budget up, to the next item. So we have, Ken and Sharon on that.
Yeah, I mean,
guess?
just
Yeah.
a quick summary, so, we're gonna be starting to work on next year's budget, which, you know, all the rumors that we're hearing is that the town's in a tough way financially, so we're gonna have to really deep dive into the budget. And then Sharon put some information in here just to show you where we are today on our budget.
Okay.
And I don't know how much
I
detail
was
you
just
can go
looking
in.
to see what the collection is. Where we had collections, how much money has been expended and this was just printed out. This is quite a bit to
Yeah.
absorb.
Yeah.
absorb.
Yeah, maybe you could give us like a,
You know, usually
bye-bye.
prior to that, we would get information on the percent collected, you know,
I
are
know.
we at 80%, 85%?
Yeah, I know we look at that at the end of the year. Getting it during the year is challenging.
Well, what are you collecting compared to the expenses and the salary?
Right, the way we bill everybody is continuous through the year, so we'd have to look at each precinct and see what the return is. And we can do that.
Well, you know, nothing in depth, we just used to have a, you know, we're, you know, 80%, 85%. It looks, 85% is not 15% on paying their bills and 10%.
Excuse me. Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing.
That is, you know, that's just a quick update.
Sure.
Nothing, you know, in real depth, you know.
Okay.
This is fine, but this will take,
Yeah.
you know.
Days.
Like to read through it.
Yep.
There is a little
You
bit.
can look at the bottom line for each of the summaries, and it says what percentage of,
Well, what
how
page
much
is that on?
on each one. So if you look on the first page, that's the engineering.
Hold on to like.
Oh, total engineering expenses?
Yes.
Okay, so, the used column,
Yes.
you're talking about 48.4%?
Yep. So
Okay.
that's for expenses, for salary. It's the top one. So it says it's 47% of the salaries for engineering. So that's kind of like that bottom line that you might be looking for
Of each section.
for each division.
Yeah, that's good, okay.
And I print these out weekly, so if that's something that you guys are interested in
I feel
getting.
like we used to get emails
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah, I can absolutely do that.
Do you want the, do you guys want the emails again?
Yeah.
Bob, do you want the emails again that we used to get?
I look at them.
I
Yeah,
never,
you-
it was when
If
I
I don't
first
get it, I
elected,
don't
I
get
had
it.
no understanding of what I was looking at.
So this is what I send out each week. I send it by division, so to each, you know, supervisor, foreman of each of the divisions, they get their own. And then some are getting the whole packet, you know, depending on what they need to see. So, so I can send the whole packet. I know that Dan used to do, a spreadsheet with, some percentages, and he basically was just taking what I have here, and he would put it into a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can just let me know how you'd like it. But I do send these out every Monday morning. So this is the most recent one.
Okay.
He used to summarize it in a spreadsheet, is that what you're saying?
So the spreadsheet that I've seen that he sent out, basically was just taking what was in here, and he would just copy the numbers over into a spreadsheet.
Was the exact same
It's the
number?
exact same
Uh-huh.
thing. So it's up to
It
you.
was just a different format.
It's just a different.
Yeah, because he didn't have this.
Munis wasn't
Munis
online.
in place.
Yeah, it was still early days.
I like
For
that,
that.
I like this.
This is easier to read,
It-
for sure.
I think it's pretty helpful. I find
Yeah.
Munis, I know that can be a little wonky, but I find it has a ton of information in it. One, if you're able to access the information. Yeah,
To find it, right.
but there's a lot of great information in Munis.
No, if you can send that out, if it's
Yeah,
too
I can
big.
send it to, I can add
If
you
it's too
guys.
big, I'll pick it up.
I'm happy to email it or I can print it out for you.
No, just email it. Just PDF it.
want it? I'll have it emailed if it's not too big.
Nope, it's not big,
Okay.
so, it would
Okay,
pretty much.
all right, if it can go through email, that's fine.
Yes, it will. Yeah, I sent it to everyone by email, in the departments. So
Okay.
they'll get it.
Oh,
So I can just add you to the list. I'll send it to you on Mondays.
yeah, No, you already said.
But I do it every week, so
So
if
next
you want
Monday.
it every week or once a month,
Once
however
you
you want.
send it, whatever you send it.
Weekly.
Thank you.
Perfect, I will do that.
Well, yeah, you don't have to add another monthly tab, just, I mean, add us to the list, the
Yeah, I'll just
email
add
list,
you.
I guess.
Yep, it's no problem. I can do
Once you
that
get
easily.
it.
Right.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome.
Okay, what was I, so, well, I don't have to read through all of that, but this was on here for what reason? Because you wanted to know.
I just wanted
You
to
put
see-
it on
I just wanted to see where we were.
where we are, okay.
Where, you know, expenses and
All right.
salaries and, you know,
Okay.
what, you know, what's the health of the enterprise
Yeah, okay.
accounts? So this is good. This
Yeah,
is
so
good.
we monitor it weekly, you know, anything that looks a little wonky, you know, we kind of figure out what's going on there.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of the percentages are pretty high, but that's because what we've done this year is we pulled a lot of requisitions and POs. So for those vendors that we use throughout the year, so we've taken the money and put it aside so that it's there when the invoices come in. So even though we haven't expended that money yet, you're gonna see the percentages are high because it's including whatever's covered.
Yeah, I did see a
Okay.
couple of
Yeah.
those, 100%. I see.
Yeah.
I just looked,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 100% for you right there. Thank you.
So just let me
Do
know.
you do you encumber by procurement?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so and basically,
So if we have a contract with someone, like, you know, for JGB, we're gonna pull a PO for that full amount. So that, you know, as soon as the contract's done, we pull the PO.
Right.
And then we have the money set aside.
Good.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Okay, so
Update on snow budget?
well, we had enterprise account update, so I think you wanna go there next. That was you, right?
Yeah, I did put the enterprise account, that I really have to look at because we're using, just for one line item, is the pensions for 10 million, which includes, that 10 million is the total amount of pensions. I called the pension board, I even talked to them. 10 million is the figure for all the town employees, including all our employees. Okay, the 10 million, it's already paid. We're paid for it by our taxes.
Right.
10 million. Includes all our employees. Now, the town is charging us $650,000 for our employees for pensions. We've already paid it. We've already paid that, right?
they're back charging it to the enterprise funds?
Yeah, so we've already paid the 10 million, includes the total of 650,000 pensions for our enterprise fund employees. It's already been paid by our taxes, 10 million. And then they're turning around and saying you owe 650. We already paid that over in the 10 million.
But it's came out of the general fund and basically they're realigning the actual expense.
Well, if they're doing that, then the pension should have been 9,300,000.
Well, they made one check to the pension board.
Well,
And then,
they sent 10 million to the pension board, included our 650. Now they want us to pay 650, and which makes the payment 10,650,000.
they're recouping the cost accounting piece.
No.
Can you explain that? What, do you know?
Do you know, Kenny, you understand it?
Yeah, it's confusing because it's, I guess the way I look at it is something like fuel. So the fuel bill is, let me get this right. So if the town uses 100 gallons for a nice round number, the town pays for, through the general fund, 100 gallons of fuel. So they've gotten 100 gallons, they've collected 100, they've collected the money and they've gotten the fuel. If that fuel is used by the enterprise fund,
Yeah.
then the town goes back to the enterprise fund and says, well, now you have to pay for, say, half the fuel or something.
Cost accounting.
So now we're paying back half of the fuel. So the town has gotten from taxes 100% of the fuel and then another half of that from the enterprise fund.
What our portion of that was?
Yes.
So
But
how
they
is
haven't
that?
reimbursed the taxpayers.
Well, no, it comes out of the general fund. So it's, say, $100. They make one check to pay the fuel bill. Then they reallocate it back to the cost center. And the cost center is water, sewer, trash, police, schools,
That's his
whatever
question.
it would be, and they allocate it back to their budgets.
But in this
I'm
case,
assuming that. I don't
in
know
this
that for a
case-
fact because I'm not the accountant.
yeah, in this case, the enterprise fund is giving the money back to the town for the fuel that they used.
Right, so the enterprise is reimbursing what the town paid for the fuel cost in your example.
Mhm.
How is that not
Well-
what we're doing for the,
That 100 gallons was paid for by the taxpayer and not the ratepayer. The ratepayer is the taxpayer. So the 100 gallons has already been paid for 100% by the taxpayer, that money, okay? So why are we charging ratepayers again for their?
They're allocating the expense back to the cost center.
So the other way to do it, I think as John was trying to say for the pensions, is
Take it out.
take it out. Have the general fund pay for general fund fuel,
Right.
and the enterprise fund pay for enterprise fuel. The cost to the enterprise fund would still be the same, because
Yep.
they're paying
it's
for
just
their
a
fuel.
cleaner way of looking at it.
So I don't disagree, right, and but the accountant is whoever's making the payment should split it up, making the payment going forward instead of going as a reimbursement, should go, here's your cost, here it is, give it to me, and I'm included in the one price.
That's called a direct charge.
Yeah, direct charge, I mean,
Yeah.
advice, but
So
it's
we-
still
so we'd like to get-
allocating the cost back to the cost center.
So we'd like to get as many things as a
Right.
direct charge to the
I agree with
enterprise
that.
fund.
I feel like that's much
Indirect.
cleaner and clearer, especially for the
It's more
public to see.
transparent.
Yeah.
And that's what,
I've been saying that for years.
Right,
I
no,
agree with
right,
it. I never-
right, we've
just-
always agreed
I
on
don't agree
this.
with everything you say, John, but some things I do.
We always agree on this, it's
Oh.
just always confusing.
So we're gonna go direct charge on
We're gonna try and get direct charges on everything we possibly
And
can.
everything.
everything that's an actual bill, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is in the enterprise fund manual, that is in there.
Someone's being lazy.
No, they're just they're double dipping, that's all.
I think it just hasn't, excuse me, it hasn't been set up that way in the past, but, and you never were able to get anywhere with changing it, but now,
We're gonna change.
we're gonna change it. We're gonna,
So
So
we're
now
gonna
we
look
have
at that for 20.
team members who are
Yes.
willing to discuss it,
For
so.
27?
Mhm.
Yes.
For 27, okay.
Right,
Yeah, we agree for 27.
right.
Is that all right, Sharon?
Yes, that's what we'll go
So
for.
we'll do direct, 9,300,650, it adds up to 10 million.
Everything we can.
We're gonna ask for directs on everything that we can get.
Good,
Okay, all right.
great.
I like the music.
Harmony makes music. Okay, let's move on, because I got, well, Jandy, come on.
We have a question?
Okay, Peterson, Pat. Can anyone explain to me where we are with the enterprise account audit?
Well, now we're calling it analysis. Because we didn't get any takers, for the RFP audit. Which may have been construed as the wrong word to use. People didn't like that word, and so, can you explain where we are with sending that back out again?
Yeah, we're
Either
looking at companies that would do that for us. We've just been a little slow with the holidays.
Right, so we had a list of companies that they were looking into. We changed the RFP to analysis. So because it looked like maybe they were getting scared away by the audit word.
But that's the job.
You want to explain that? Because you got the answer on that
I can't
from
hear it. What did
So he asked us, isn't that their job?
Oh.
Sharon can explain that because she got the answer.
So there was, the companies that we contacted, because we didn't get any responses to the RFP, so we went out and asked for, feedback on it, and, the companies that we spoke with, one in particular said that, they weren't able to do anything unless an insurance company made a claim. So basically us saying money was not spent correctly, we go to our insurance company to recoup the money. The insurance company goes to this auditing company basically, and to try to recoup the money. And that's not, that was,
That's not the intent
no,
of the.
that wasn't how we were envisioning it.
Seems suspect on that one, in my opinion. Do you have the names of the companies that you went to, that's, I guess you went to for this audit, or you submitted and you heard back?
So we didn't hear back from anyone, so we just, we called.
They're all in the state?
Yes. Yeah.
We try outside of the state?
I didn't have any names to call, but we could, you know.
Well, we didn't get any response.
Yeah.
So Sharon contacted a couple of companies
Yep.
to just say, what's your opinion of this RFP? To kind of try to flesh out why we didn't get a response on it. And basically it was, the word audit means that there was some wrongdoing that has to come from the insurance company. You have to have made a claim, and then the insurance company has to request an audit. So it really wasn't the intention of what we were looking for. We're looking for an analysis. So we changed it to say analysis because that's really what we're looking for. And then that's gonna go out again, and you're contacting companies directly, I think at this point with that, right? Or are you
Yes.
sending it out, or both?
No, we'd like
You're
to
gonna do both.
contact people, yeah.
Okay,
So
all right, so,
you got a
but then we got into Christmas and New Year's
You got
and
the list from-
everything.
The list was from the state,
DOR?
Yes, exactly. They have a list
I'm
of,
not happy with DOR.
Yeah, so she got a list from Department of Revenue, you know?
Yeah, I'd like
so
to see.
they have companies that they,
I know they would, but I don't mean to interrupt you.
No.
I've already dealt with DOR for years. You know, we have somebody at DOR that almost bankrupt our town. I won't mention a name, but we
yeah.
could go, they, use the couple of those, but we gotta get other ones. I don't want them all from DOR.
Is,
We
what you're telling me is that the auditing companies won't do it unless it was insurance specified, is that the way I'm understanding?
So again, we didn't get any response to the RFP. So in order to find out why we didn't get any response, Sharon called a couple of companies that do CPAs, right? CPA companies, and asked, like, here was our RFP, like, what do you think of this? And their response was, because it says audit, that's flagged, like that would be technically a situation where the town thought there was wrongdoing, made a claim with the insurance company then requests an audit from these auditing companies. So
so that, yeah,
it
that
was the word audit that looked like it
So
was
let me ask you
the
this much,
problem.
just so if you just change the wording, it's not gonna change
No.
what we're looking for.
We're just changing it to analysis.
So
from audit.
the analysis will still be the same as the file.
Same
that
thing,
we're
everything.
talking about, right?
Everything, the same, just changing it to analysis and then trying to get some companies to do it. And this time, she's calling them directly.
and one of the
Or they are.
requirements that we were looking at through the RFP was that they would give us references of other towns that they had done the same process with.
Oh yeah, that was
I
added.
was
yeah.
told by two different companies that they weren't allowed to do that because they signed non-disclosures. So they wouldn't be able to tell us anyone else they previously worked with, and that was another requirement on the RFP, so that maybe had been why we didn't get some
Right, so the
replies.
two things in the RFP that we didn't get any responses, so changed it and hopefully,
They did this in Saugus, they did it in Randolph, I think Peabody. Saugus.
I mean, it might have been a while ago before.
I'm just saying, you know, this has been done.
Mm.
I had it all, at one time, I had it laid right out. And, the guy in Saugus went to jail.
How long ago do you think?
That was in 2017, 2018.
I mean, things have changed so much, people are just, you know.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
analysis is the wrong word.
No.
I'm just
Yeah.
making a point that
Yeah.
the ratepayers have been screwed to the wall. So we're gonna find out where the money is.
We're not giving up.
No,
And
that's what I wanted to find out, was just because when the select board took this up, and then, you know, I was talking to John and I was asking about it. He's like, well, we're gonna have a discussion tonight about it. I was like, all right, so, as I was curious what was going on, and so now you're telling me there's I guess a word game going on. with it, I guess. And so,
And then also the reference thing.
yeah, so I mean, all right, I mean, as long as, it's unfortunate that we gotta change wording on it just to get it done, for whatever reason, but as long as it gives us the same results, at the end of the day, what we're all looking for, that's what matters to me anyways.
Yeah, none of the specifics were getting changed, just changing it to analysis and then taking out the requirement for
Well, I guess
reference,
that's
right?
something we have to discuss on
Oh,
if that, I mean, is that a deal breaker if they're not gonna be able to tell us other towns?
There's
have
companies
done
that will do this, we can keep
I
going
mean,
over this.
well, if they can't get it,
Point
yeah,
of
if they can't
clarification.
give us a reference because they've signed a non-disclosure, we can't make that a requirement.
So, point of
We're not gonna get
clarification.
anywhere on it in that case. Yeah, what?
Like, John, you say that you know 3, 4, 5 companies, I mean, towns that have done it. Is there any way that we can find out
I'll call
what are the name of those companies that actually did it, so we can reach out to them?
The one that did Saugus was Powers and Sullivan at the time. We can't reach out to them because they were bought up by a different company. Now there are people that's done our auditing for our town.
No, but if we can find out what the companies were, I mean, at least you have a base and say, we have this thing and go from there.
I'll reach out, is that all right for the board? I'll reach out?
Yeah, reach
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so, all right, I'll reach out to thing and come back with somebody, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that has any
Yep. I
ideas on
I just gotta do a search of my computer.
firms
and I come up
that,
with the
yeah,
names.
yeah, absolutely.
That way you have a base, at least you can reach it out and say, we have this need, this is what we have, we understand that you work for other towns in the city, don't have to name anybody. Are you interested in doing this for us? And could you give us your qualifications?
Okay.
Yeah, obviously, we'll make sure that they're qualified to do it, for sure. Yes.
Joe Sargent, I just want to echo the concern of the citizens. Town meeting voted for this. As long as I've known John, I've been a backer of this going back more than a decade. And also my question is, where is the solicitation available for citizens to see? Is it an advertisement and does it describe a scope?
Town meeting voted for what?
Audit.
This was not put on town meeting. We didn't have this on town meeting, did we?
Several years ago. It was
That's not what we're talking about. though.
2016.
Well,
Is
we
it?
would be using
Yes, it is.
the money.
The
That
audit,
was-
the audit that was passed many years ago. And
Many years
Oh, okay,
Just
well,
the
it was
money's
way
still
back.
there.
Yeah, I didn't,
Right.
sorry, I didn't know about
The
that.
money
part.
is in the enterprise.
Yes.
Yeah, every year.
Oh, right,
Right.
okay.
So, I mean, everybody's waiting.
Oh, now I
for this
remember,
to
yeah.
happen, but where is the solicitation of the scope? Where can we see it? Was it put in on the Facebook? Was it put on?
We don't put that stuff on Facebook, no.
Well, but how would you advertise for a firm?
So it went out through,
Do you go through combis?
Yeah, it goes Combine Central Register. We post it in the local newspaper 2 weeks before the bids are due, and we post it on bulletin boards at the town hall and here.
and also we discussed it several times in several meetings.
I-
And went over the
I
whole wording of
apologize, I
it.
just never came across the
Yeah.
solicitation. and the-
I think
Did
it's
they go on
a
the
case
service?
where if you're not looking for something specific
there
like
combis
that,
now?
then you're not gonna see it.
Combines is goods and
Yeah.
services.
What is combines?
It's the state procurement process.
Oh. Well, you know.
But that is, like the word says, it's combines, right? COMMBUYS.
Oh,
And
combines.
combines,
Okay.
right? Commonwealth buys.
Right.
But the issue is, unless you know where it is, it's very difficult to find. So my point with asking John for
That's true.
what firms are, is that you can direct those firms to go to the solicitation and follow the solicitation. But firms are usually not out there, hunting for the work.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to be active, is my point.
well, you know from working in the finance section or angle on projects, that a lot of firms already have their niche
They do.
or their area of specialization, and this seems like it might be a little unusual.
This is off
And in fact, it kind of.
Off the grid per se.
Yeah, and it kind of, well, to Mr. Kelly's comment, it kind of reminds me, like, when I wanted to sue the town or get a consultant to help me challenge a project in town, people around here wouldn't touch it because they were afraid of rocking the boat, or, you know, so I had to go out of state.
Okay, well, there were specific reasons why they said they couldn't do it because of the insurance laws that I guess probably are now in place that maybe weren't in 2017 when Saugus or wherever was it Saugus? Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
So there's probably some laws that have and rules that have changed that weren't, you know, in effect back then.
I think it's just.
And
you
the
know,
non-disclosure that, you know, everybody's signing
That's the
non-disclosure
first
for
I've heard-
everything now,
That's the
so.
first I've heard of a non-disclosure.
Well, she explained it to us when she,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. Let's just
Sorry,
move on.
Sharon, I didn't mean to say,
Oh, no,
point at you and say
no,
she.
I was just gonna say, I think that, having companies or firms to call that we know have previously done this will make a huge difference, because like Bob was saying, no one's probably looking for these, advertisements, so, when I just cold called several, you know, John, I knew you supplied it, several to me, which I did call, and those were the replies that we got, so I think we're just not reaching the right audience yet, but we can narrow it down so we can find the people that are actually gonna be able, who have done this and be for us.
That'd be good. Okay.
Yeah.
So, trust me, we're as frustrated as you guys are. That hasn't happened, but we're not giving up on it.
I just wanted to say, this shit, I mean, that, you know, whatever you're gonna do, reword one word or whatever else like that, and then put it out there, but I would say that, don't be afraid to leave the borders of Massachusetts on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. We want to get it done,
No, I want
but,
to see it done.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
I appreciate it, thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
thank you.
Snow budget.
Okay, no budget.
No budget,
Where are we?
we're gonna be overspent.
Mm.
So we're gonna go into deficit this year for sure. We're gonna meet later on this week with the town and start to figure out what the process is, because I don't know what the process is when
Can I
you go
I
over.
don't mean to interrupt you. I ran into, I can't, he's been on the advisory board forever. I can't think of his name, but anyhow, he said it's probably come out of free cash. But it's always been overspent, but I don't think it's been overspent for years because, as you know, the ratepayer's been paying for it for years. During the day, did you know this?
We talked about this.
We've talked
Yes.
about this with the,
Well, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
tell you that it might not have been overspent. Now it is, because it's coming out of the snow budget. But I wanted to know exactly, you know, what we were overspent in the snow budget. Everything went for the snow budget.
Yes,
Yes.
it's been very easy to document this year because
So,
every storm we've had has been nights, weekends, and holidays.
right,
yeah.
they've all been on the
So
weekend
it's
and
not
holiday.
regularly scheduled time, so everybody's coming
well,
in
regular scheduled
immediately.
time, if it's snowing, it goes on the snow budget.
Like 10 more
But
weeks.
what I'm saying is we haven't had to do that because every storm has been all night long on a weekend or
But
a
when
holiday.
when it does snow during the day, we do have that process in place now so that anything that was snow and ice will be billed to snow and ice.
Thank you.
Yeah, goes snow and ice, because for years it's been
Yes.
the ratepayer. I thought I had that straightened out. Well, remember the meeting at the library? We, no, at the.
What century?
No, the Council on Aging. Council on Aging, we had a meeting, this is about 4 or 5 years ago. Anne Marie, you remember.
Uh-oh.
And,
Council on Aging.
The Rangers.
That's when we talk about the Brant Rock Esplanade.
Wait a minute, let me finish.
Steam is an ADZZ.
The ratepayers were paying for all the plowing during the day. At night it went on the snow budget, but during the day, the ratepayers were paying for plowing all the roads during straight time. And I asked the superintendent at the time, I says, you can't do that, you can't spend our ratepayers' money like that, that's illegal. And he agreed. but he never changed it. It went on and on and on and on for years. And that's the money the ratepayers have been paying. So, you know, we talk about, you know, the nickel and dime of the indirects and everything else. The ratepayers have been paying for the snow plowing for, I can say, for about 10 years.
Okay,
You know.
we're gonna move on from that. I mean,
You know, every time I mention that, you want to move on, like I'm doing something.
No, I agree with John. I mean, the bottom line is it's just a cost, it's a cost accounting issue where they've been basically not defining where the costs are coming from and counting it back.
all right, so you're gonna get information on the, okay, so
Yeah.
do you have, all right, so can we vote on the minutes?
Yeah, I'm all set for those. I read them.
Okay, I read them. Bob?
Take a motion.
I'm good.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from 12/1/25 and 12/15/25.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, superintendent's report?
That was good. Good report. Thank you.
I think we talked about
That
it.
was good, that was quick, we liked
I
it.
think we talked about it a lot, but there is something that's going on. The gas company is doing a new gas line, and it's on Careswell Street from Webster Street towards the Duxbury line and all the way to the Duxbury line. So that's going to be ongoing for a period of time. They're just out there today, just putting out some erosion controls, but it's going to be an impact to the town because it's going to go on the south side of the road, so it's going to take up part of the travel lane. They're going to pave every night so they won't leave open trenches, which is good because that's a windy, hard to see road. But they will be there during the day, so it's going to be a problem.
You're going from Webster Street down to the Duxbury line?
Correct.
I saw them today.
Webster down.
Have you seen your gas bill? Oh my God.
Webster down, no, Webster towards Duxbury.
Duxbury.
Oh, okay.
So from Webster
Yeah,
Street
alright, yeah,
on Careswell.
yeah, I did see them today.
Okay.
They,
Yeah.
that's big
Yeah.
sticky thing.
Yeah, that's the erosion controls, yeah.
Okay.
A big worm.
John, can you go work for the gas company? Because the friggin' gas bills are crazy. Talk about getting screwed.
Yes,
Yeah, just on that, it seems to me, thank you for sharing that. Is it an emergency for them to do this gas line right now? I mean, geez, we're in the middle of winter. I mean, is this something they can put off till springtime?
That's up to the gas company. I'm sure they have a lot of things scheduled, so I just know that they're doing it. I don't know what their schedule was. In fact, I believe they told me that they were scheduled to do it like a year ago, and they're just getting around to it.
I know, I mean, like you pointed out, it's a windy road. We got winter here and all that, and it's just like, I don't know if are they gonna make conditions worse on that road, especially at this time of year with all the work they're doing? I mean, I just look at that, they should probably wait till after winter in this case, in my opinion.
I don't know that there's ever a good time to dig up roads. There's always
There's
impacts.
construction every day of the week everywhere.
right.
Let's go.
In the
Yeah, I don't think that
middle
we
of
can really
snowstorm, they're
decide
doing
that.
catch spaces on the expressway in the middle of, on a Sunday night. So it's like, you're out there working.
Okay, so that's it. So I make a motion to,
Adjourn.
adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
John, wait a minute.